Let's have a laugh.
In a world of remakes and remasters,
Are we playing for
what was once sacred and cool has now soured and become lame.
Radical?
Gone are the days of Pods and Cowabunga. Now is the reign of slurp juice and dabs. Kids these days don't even know how bad they've got it. Now it's up to the best generation to rise to the occasion and make a show that dares to go where a lot of other nerdy shows have already gone quite a bit. That's right. They're going to talk about it a lot.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the show. This is Best Gen, the show where nerds complain about nerdy things, and we call it Best Gen because we're all roughly from the same gen. Happen to think that it's the best, not because we as people are better than you, but because our entertainment was. So, on the show, we wax nostalgic and complain about the new things and reminisce about the old things. We don't have a lot to talk about today, because all the bad stuff's over, and
We've got a short respite.
we got a short show today. Also, I'm sick, so I don't want to be here, but I want to be here because I like being here. I just don't want to be alive. I just misspoke, you know. And we might have some more guests pop on later, but it's just going to be a chill stream tonight. We got Andor episode 9.
Yeah.
We got up to episode 4 of the Peripheral, which is not bad. Yeah, Andor is surprisingly good, but literally no one is watching it. It's not even registering on the Nielsen ratings.
That's sad.
Because Star Wars is a dead brand.
Yep.
It's officially been
it.
declared a dead brand, which is a shame because Andor is actually good, but no one's going to see it because you screwed yourselves, Disney. So I think our longest segment today is going to be our bad takes. But
those are always fun.
Yeah, I've watched a couple other things, but I don't think you guys have seen them.
Well, you can try those.
Yeah, I watched the Weird Al Yankovic movie.
Oh,
I was going to see that
the fake documentary.
Oh, yeah.
Or it's not a documentary. It's a biopic about his life that's completely made up.
Yeah, that was like when I read that.
It is hilarious. I think sometimes it gets a little too slow, and they kind of like let the jokes marinate a little bit too long, but it is so clever, and the ending is just wonderful. It's so good.
And I'm glad there's something good out there. I mean, I'm definitely going to see it on the theaters.
It's not in theaters. It's free.
Oh, for real?
You could, if you go to Roku, you can just watch it for free. If you go online, or if you have a Roku stick or a cell phone, you can just go. It's free. I would have paid good money to go see this in theaters.
Yes, I thought that it was going to be on the theater. That's the reason I was like, okay, I'm gonna skip it because they said it was not based on Weird Al Yankovic's real life. It's take some liberties there, but
that's the point. It's
that's fun.
Like Weird Al is in the movie. He plays his agent.
Really?
He plays his own agent. Um, it's really good. And yes, Mark Clark, we did watch The Peripheral. We're gonna talk about it.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, no, like the point of the story, it pretends that it's a biopic, but the movie's a joke. It's making fun of biopics
Nice.
because they chose Weird Al as the subject, and it's so clever. It's brilliant.
Hell
And
yeah.
my favorite part of the movie is in biopics, they always do it at the end of the movie, like during the credits, they'll show you like photographs of the real people from their lives.
Yeah.
And so they start doing that, showing real Weird Al in kind of the same situations that happened in the movie, but they Photoshop them. And so even like the ending is
Sick.
trolling you, and,
That's so
and it,
great.
like it shows him with like JFK and like just like it's like it's Forrest Gump, but it's a comedy.
Yeah, that's good.
And
That sounds awesome.
there's one joke in there that's so clever that I don't want to spoil it, but it's not much of a spoiler. They play on the idea because like he makes parodies of other people's songs,
Mhm.
except that halfway through the movie they flip it on its head and try to say that Beat It, which was a cover of Michael Jackson,
Michael Jackson, Eat It?
sorry,
Eat
Eat It, which was a cover of Michael Jackson's Beat It, was actually an original song, and Michael Jackson ripped Weird Al off.
That's brilliant.
It's so brilliant. It's so good.
Yeah, that's really, that works on so many levels, because that was like his comeback song, because he was popular before. He had lots of hits, and then he released an album in between that was it didn't land, and then he came back with Eat It, and that just put him right back up on the charts.
They play it off like, I don't want to do covers anymore. I want my own original material. and then Michael Jackson comes out with Beat It, and he's like, now people are gonna think that I just copied his song. And
That's so good.
I mean, I feel well. It's good for Daniel Radcliffe. I mean, he has some bad takes, but
yeah, this is
terrible
probably his
takes.
best movie.
Yeah,
It's the best thing he's ever done. Is
Nice.
Radcliffe.
That's nice for him. Yeah, nice for him. I mean, I'm a Harry Potter fan, so I'm a sucker for this guy. But yeah, I don't really like his ideas.
He has some bad ideas.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, he hasn't really been in much good since Harry Potter. There was the Lady in Black was okay, the first one.
The first one, yes.
But we had really nothing else good
yeah,
since
Harry
then.
Potter. Yeah, Harry Potter indeed.
Yeah. So go watch. It's called Weird, the Al Yankovic story. It's great.
Have you seen the Guillermo del Toro new?
Oh, the Box of Curiosities.
Mm-hmm.
It's on Netflix, and I don't have Netflix yet, but I'm going to have it. I'm gonna get it for a month again to watch the Glass Onion. The Knives Out too.
That's the Knives Out sequel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna check out Curiosities. Is it good?
Yeah, it was so good until one episode was so bad, and you could see the face of the lefty behind the freaking episode. The only thing that bothered me from Guillermo del Toro is that he got so lefty for no reason.
He's very woke right now.
And he's ruining, like, it shows that his taste got ruined. Like, the show is great, but the little bits that makes you just roll your eyes and want to die.
That happens to just everyone in Hollywood though. Like it just destroys people.
Yeah, it destroys your mind. It was destroying my mind. I told you already that I don't know if I told you already, but I was a lefty. I was such a lefty. Those kind of lefties that correct your speech,
Mhm.
and that's
Mhm.
oh, I was like, oh no, that's a microaggression against against this group or whatever, and I was so
What?
annoying.
Yeah. What was your turning point? What made you realize you were dumb?
Uh, to be honest, my father passing away was like a wake up call, because I always disagree with him in everything, because I was such a lefty and he was conservative,
Mhm.
and they were like, I used to call him, I don't know, homophobic and stuff like that, and I was just annoying and mean, like a bully to my own father. And I was like, yeah, when he passed, I was so, I regret everything like that. I mean, it was not like I was a bully, but it was like ignoring. But it's just as bad, and I just regretted that I waste my time, being a lefty. That's why I hate leftism so much, because I just feel like it made me waste most of my life. The best years of my life, I just wasted them.
I think the worst part about it is that the Fox virtue. They claim to be
Thank you so much, Sherlock.
tolerant and loving, and like you said, like you realized you were being hateful to your own father. Like that's not tolerance,
No, not
guys.
at all. And
Nope.
and you feel like you are like good, and this is the issue. I
Yeah,
was trying to be
it
good.
does. It
Yeah,
makes you feel good. It makes you
I
feel like
was.
you're fighting something.
And I was trying so hard to be good, because I was going through some dark thoughts,
So
dark thoughts. And
I don't blame people for falling
thank
for
you so
it.
much, Mark.
I
Yeah.
totally understand how people can believe that lie, that
hmm
they're doing something good.
Yes, but it has to do some, has to deal with the fact that those people need need so bad to feel good or feel that they are doing good, because inside they are horrible. And I was horrible. I had thoughts that to this day haunt me. Like I was insane. I was doing really really bad, and it was because of the leftism sickness that just makes you fall into a loophole of just hate. You send hate out and you receive hate back, and no one, you don't receive love because you don't give love back, and it's just
Mhm.
like ecosphere of hate, and it sickens your brain and makes you hate humanity. And that's the reason why lefties want, abortion and all this stuff, because they hate humans. They don't care about humans. They really don't care. They care more about animals and that stuff. They don't like humans. And that's why when I was like, holy, and I had a friend that was so straightforward with me, and he was like, dude, you are messing up. You are hating yourself and others, and you're not, you're not doing good. You think you are good. You think you're fighting for something, but everything you say is harmful and hurtful, and you don't think that the things you say have an effect on other people, and they do. They do. So at least I learned how to apologize. If I said something hurtful, I was like, okay, I apologize for that. I did not mean that. But you know it becomes just such a sickness. Now I'm happy I'm out of
Yeah.
there. Hmm.
Well, we're really glad that you're here with us. I love having you on the show now.
Thank you so
Sorry
much.
about your dad. How do we segue out of this? Buy my merch, everybody. Spend money.
Yeah,
Not
brother.
just, no,
Hey,
we love having you on the show.
thank you so much.
Um, yeah, let's talk about Andor. I want to quickly
Yeah.
put it out there that I've mentioned this before. I'm working on a musical project, like a album, full studio album, that's taking a while. So to to fill in the gap, I'm going to be releasing a Christmas song in December. That's not connected to the album, but it's
I
my
was
band.
I was gonna say it's a little early for you for a
No,
Christmas
next
song,
month,
isn't it?
next month,
Okay,
next
okay.
month. But
I don't have a
I
problem with it, but
I
I mean,
did just
I'm
finish.
starting my Christmas music now.
I did just finish one of the tracks on my album, and if you want to hear it, we might play it at the end of this stream if we get like 20 likes. 20 likes. I know this worked wonderfully the last time we did it. Oh, when is Shelf Help coming out with t-shirts? Never. because I actually this weekend went out and bought the trademark for Shelf Help Gaming. No, I'm just joking. I was actually researching
Nice.
if I needed to do that myself, and realized how much it costs, and I'm like, oh yikes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because I was trying to figure out if I needed to do that for my band, which it's just me and a friend. If I needed to like trademark my band name or even like technically Mexican for like the shirts I'm selling, which I probably need to do, and it's going to cost a lot of money. So,
Yikes. But yeah, that's it. That's a good idea. I'll have to look into that. Getting some shirts for Shelf Help Gaming.
maybe
We got a long ways to go though.
Subs. Yeah, so yeah, let's plug your channel and then we'll get into the nerd stuff. Enough with this sappy talk about politics and death. Well, David, you've got a YouTube channel called Shelf Help Gaming where you talk about board games and stuff. You have anything you want to plug?
No, we have a couple game review videos up there, and we got another tabletop gaming video coming out soon. So, yep.
You can hear my song when this video gets 20 likes. We're at 8 right now.
Nice.
And TheAngryMexa has got his own channel, which is are you at 600 subs yet? You were close.
Almost there.
All right.
20 to go.
His channel's doing great.
We're doing good. Gaining
It's
momentum.
Yeah, it's getting there. It's been hard to make videos, but I'm gonna try to keep at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so much work. That's why I like doing these, because like it's like, I mean, I say I don't have to prepare a lot, but I prepare so much for these shows. It's just as stressful as making a real video, but I love doing it. Let's talk about Andor, guys. How do you guys feel about the third story arc? The third of threes.
Yeah. So this one didn't quite end as finally as the other 3 arcs.
And I'm really glad. I'm really
Yes.
glad it didn't.
Yes, me too. So it feels like it's opening up a lot more. But I really liked this episode. I think this was finally where it's getting somewhere. I loved the point. The whole episode. He's just trying to convince the other cellmate. To the guy in charge.
To at least give him information on his way
give
out.
him information, yeah. And at the very end, he asks him again, how many guards are there? He's like, never more than 12 or whatever.
That was
that's exciting.
Yeah, it was such a good moment. And I mean, you knew that the whole time. You knew that the elderly inmate was going to die. It was just a matter of how it happened and what happened to him afterwards. But but it was a little bit predictable in that sense. But I thought it was really, really good. I really like what's happening too with the Imperial ISB agents as well. They're cracking down on there. Although one part that I didn't quite follow is when they were talking about
nobody's listening.
No, that's a quote from the show.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
It's not commenting on the stream. Yeah. I liked that part, like where he's saying they couldn't care less about us. They've set up this system so they don't ever have to monitor us.
Right.
No one cares what we talk about.
There's 2 things that didn't quite make sense to me. One of them was when the ISB agents were talking about they captured some rebel pilot, and then they were going to make it look like it was an accident in his cockpit or something and have him blow up. I'm not sure exactly what that has to do with everything. I'm assuming it's just they captured some rebel pilot that we haven't seen and we don't know about, and he leaked some information, and then they're going to make his death look like an accident, so they don't know that the rebels don't know that they know that information.
The rebels don't get suspicious.
But it never showed that, so it was a little bit confusing. And the other part is when they were in the compound and they found out what happened to floor 2 or whatever,
right?
Where they re-sent a guy that was supposed to be done. They sent him back to floor 2, and then there was an uprising and had to kill them all. That's a cool reveal, I guess, that they don't let the people go home,
but if they have to
but it
kill an
doesn't make
entire floor
sense.
every
Yeah,
time, yeah.
if they have to kill a whole floor because there's an uprising because some guy was supposed to let go and he didn't let go, is it really worth it? So that's the one thing that didn't make sense
Mhm.
to me logistically. But other than that, I really like the episode.
Yes, it
Yeah.
was from the start. It was, I think it was pretty great. The first scenes with the torture method that they were,
Hmm.
using with pigs, was pretty, pretty impactful for me. It was like, holy, they are really going there. Like, they are showing that these guys are, well, the empire, so they are bad. They are not just these stiff corporate guys doing
Hmm.
just paperwork. No, they are going dirty. And that creepy doctor was like giving me the chills.
Yeah.
I didn't know what he was going to do next. And that
Hmm.
was good. That was like, there was some suspense with pigs and the whole situation with Mon Mothman, or more like Mom Mothman. She's a total mommy.
Yeah.
Um, and then the I don't remember her name, but I'm just going to call her Lesbo.
Hmm.
I'm joking. No, but that girl, Sam or something. Whatever.
The
I'm
other,
calling.
the blonde rebel lady.
Yeah,
Yeah,
blonde girl.
she's
Just
cool
Yeah,
like,
too.
she had a
she
good.
was really good in that. And those scenes were like building up the suspense. Like, we know who you are. Like, she knows who Mon is, and Mon knows that she's like, a rebel. But
Yeah, just and they didn't even need to
Mhm,
say it. It came out organically
exactly,
through
Bell.
a different
Mhm.
conversation that she was having with Mon Mothma. You got all of the context that you needed for her backstory, and you realized why she's involved, and they didn't even need to tell you.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's good writing. I wanted to
Mhm.
address this because I feel exactly the same way. I loved the original trilogy. I liked the prequels when I was a kid. When I grew up, I realized they were pretty cheesy, but I still
Mhm.
enjoy them for what they are. But
Mhm.
like I couldn't agree more. I Star Wars is dead to me. Like I could not care less about Star Wars, which is why I'm surprised I'm liking Andor. But I'm enjoying it as a sci-fi show. Like it gives me it doesn't inspire any nostalgia in me whatsoever.
That's
And
unfortunate.
it's sad. It's super sad.
Yeah. But you're right. It's not really like, I mean, the only things that had Star Wars related are, the Empire and the Rebels,
Yeah.
and that's it. And it's
Yeah.
basically, you can put any names, I don't know, any sci-fi names pasted. You can even rehash an old franchise from the 80s that they were great franchise, sci-fi
Yeah.
franchise in the 80s,
Yeah.
70s. Mm,
And nothing that they could do in this TV show, even if it's ends and it's like the greatest thing ever, it's still not going to change the way I feel about Disney Star Wars right now. They've still
yeah.
screwed up so much that even this show leads to the prequel trilogy. Sorry, it
Yeah.
leads to the sequel trilogy, which is just garbage.
Mhm.
So
That leads to
I'm
the
enjoying it
original
as a show, but
trilogy, theoretically, right?
what?
Because that's how they. I mean, it leads to Rogue One, that leads to
The
Yeah,
the
original
original
trilogy.
trilogy,
Yeah.
right?
yeah,
Theoretically, but
which
yeah,
leads to the sequel trilogy.
and
But
what could they do? What could they
honestly,
do? There's no way. There's no way
the only
to.
thing they would literally have to disavow the sequels for me to be back on board. They have to say
And Solo,
we're retconning this. We're starting over.
Which
and,
is
and
never going to
Solo.
happen.
I actually kind of like
Solo.
Solo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Solo was kind of a mess, but it was still fun to watch. It didn't
No.
break anything for me. It just wasn't as good as it should have been,
And wasn't really necessary,
and
Mhm,
wasn't
that's
necessary.
one
Yeah.
my
but
feeling
it
that.
wasn't offensively bad.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah.
yeah, but it was not. I don't know, Andor and Juan Solo,
What Solo?
Juan Solo would have been fun to see them together. I don't somehow.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I'm not sure how they are going to fix anything. Like, I know they are trying to make another trilogy, or something like
They
that. It's on the-
just announced a standalone movie
oh,
that comes
Ah.
after the sequels, so no one
Well,
cares.
Actually, they didn't announce it. It was leaked.
Oh, okay. It was
And,
leaked, and then they
were
rolled
told,
with it.
and then they rolled with it, announced it, and then they were told right afterwards, "Hey, you need to stop announcing movies because you've announced so many of them, and then they've been canceled or put on the shelf. So stop announcing projects until they're
Yeah.
greenlit and they're going." Actually,
you're
so,
totally right. They told this Jackie Kennedy, or what's the
Yeah.
name of Caitlin?
Kathleen Kennedy. Yeah.
Yeah, they told her, stop talking about things that is not going to happen.
Yeah.
You don't even have the money yet.
The only reason Kathleen Kennedy has a job is because she, did things for Steven Spielberg. So
Yeah. She's a good producer. She's just not a very good.
And
Head of-
I will bet that's a good swallower.
Yeah.
and we got Corwin on the stream
Corwin,
Come back.
for 20 minutes, I believe you said.
We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, we've been talking about Andor, but since your time is precious, I don't even know what you've been caught up on because you've been gone for so long.
I'm all caught up on it.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm all caught
What do
up.
you think
on
of
it.
Andor?
I like it. It's not
It's
enough
good.
to save Star Wars in my mind.
Exactly. It's good. It's not doing anything for me, but I'm liking it.
I don't hate it. I
Mhm.
don't dislike it. I don't absolutely love it, but I think it's really good. I think the acting for the most part is really good. I think the effects are really good. I think it's not getting the credit that it deserves, and that's the sad part.
Yep.
But it doesn't deserve to get the credit it deserves.
Well,
That's the
true.
thing.
I
It's
think
I
Disney's
think it
Disney's
does.
fault.
I think it just comes down to the simple fact of a lot of people are we're just fed up with Disney Star Wars. We're done with it. And now that they've actually done something good, apart from The Mandalorian,
It's too late. It's too little, too late.
yeah, too
Yep.
little too late.
Now I was wondering what was the final blow for you guys? What was he's
It
already
was
there, just
Probably
kill him.
Boba Fett. Well,
Rise of Skywalker.
Rise of Skywalker was terrible, but I still like Star Wars. I still like Star Wars at this point.
Obi-Wan
but-
for me was like unforgivable too. Like, it was
Yeah,
such a
Obi-Wan
mess.
was bad, but it wasn't nearly as bad as Boba Fett. I thought Boba Fett
Oh,
was
for
just
real? I haven't even
absolutely
watched
that
Boba
was-
Fett because everyone's
no.
saying that.
I'm basically in the same boat here. I didn't think that The Mandalorian was terrible. I thought it was very overrated. I think that per season there are 2 episodes that are fantastic. The majority of it is fine, and then there are a handful of episodes that are just the worst that I absolutely hate. So I while I did enjoy Mandalorian, I think it's way overrated, and they're relying on nostalgia and the cute factor, which is why
Yes.
they immediately had to bring back Grogu. But it would have been so much more interesting without him.
Yep. Yeah, I was really looking forward to season 3 of Mando, so they could break free of Grogu, and then they had to ruin it with Boba Fett. So he's right back where he started.
And I think the thing though with Andor is just the story's relatively good.
Yeah,
It's very well written.
Yeah.
A lot of things are intertwined.
It's good writing.
It's good writing, and it shows. It's good writing. It's good acting. It's good, and I do think it's on par with The Mandalorian. But like we talked about,
I think it's
Obi-Wan
better than
has,
Mandalorian.
Yeah, it's way better.
Consistent, more consistent at least.
Obi-Wan had its massive issues. It was good. I liked it. I'm a little. I liked
Same
it a
here.
lot more than I think TheAngryMexa does. But yeah, I'm enjoying it, which is saying something. I mean, as you guys know, I don't think TheAngryMexa knows as well as you, David or Alan, but I don't watch TV.
No.
I don't. I would rather play video games. It takes me.
Nice.
It takes a lot.
The only reason you're watching TV is because of me.
Yes, 100% yes, and for it to keep my attention, It's pretty impressive.
It's good. Yeah, indeed. I feel the same way. Like the only three things that I saw this week was, the episode of Andor and the two episodes of Peripheral. Like I'm like you, bro. I'm gaming all day, watching YouTube videos and stuff. I actually spend more time watching videos from the shows that I should be watching instead of actually watching TV. But you're right, man. I mean, TV is going to die someday. I'm pretty sure of it.
And the thing
Yeah.
the thing that just kind of gets me though, and this is just if you and it's with anything Star Wars related, especially recently, since Disney took over. If you go look at any fan movies that have been done on YouTube,
Yeah.
YouTube fan-based movies,
Hmm.
they
So
do
good.
better effects, they do better storylines, they have
Jimmy
better
Costa.
acting than these shows that are billion-dollar shows, or these $300 million for the season shows. Like, for example, one that's coming to my mind is one that is, I guess, a couple Jedi crash land on a planet or whatever, and it happens to be the planet that Darth Maul is training on at the time, and they can't be found by the Jedi yet, and so Sidious instructs Maul to kill the Jedi. It is amazing. It's like 15, 20 minutes long. It's awesome. And it's just sad that you've got these shows that YouTube's doing, that fans are doing, that are better than this multi-million-dollar.
Yeah.
Yes, I was thinking like give a milli to a fan and he's going to give you gold.
Yep.
Yes.
I've been saying it for a while that I think that entertainment is quickly going to become decentralized.
Well, look at, for example, this was a while ago for the decentralization. I had you guys watch it, and I remember everyone had complaints and stuff, but for the most part, we all really enjoyed it for a fan show. Was
We
that
did.
Balin's route from Viva La Dirt?
Viva La Dirt Link. I was going to bring that up. Yeah,
Yeah, Viva La Dirt League.
Yeah,
That
they're
was
great.
amazing.
it was great.
Granted, it had issues with it, and of course it's going to. But I mean, the fact that a group of guys that are YouTube stars did a show that's 30 minutes long, or I think it's 30 minutes or whatever, that's better than half the crap that these people are putting out for hundreds of millions of dollars, just goes to show.
Well,
Yeah.
and you've got big creators that are starting some awesome projects that people are more invested in than freaking giant corporation Disney Star Wars. I mean, we just had Eric July launch his Rippaverse. David, have you gotten your comic book yet?
I have. I'm saving it for my Christmas present, so I haven't read it yet.
Oh, okay. We need to talk about it. It's good.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe I'll bust it out.
He's launching a comic book universe because he's tired of DC and Marvel and their woke crap. And he made almost $4 million
Just
on his
from
first
donations.
issue. Then you've got Shad Brooks from Shadiversity releasing his comic book version of his book. He made $500,000, and there's going to be 2 more issues on that. And
Yeah.
he made so much money. He announced, "Hey, I'm going to start 2 more comics. I'm going to start a replacement for Star Wars, and I'm going to start a superhero comic book."
Yeah, and Critical Drinker was doing
Critical Drinker's getting a movie.
yes, a short movie, and it
I
looks
haven't read any of his books yet. It's like espionage, like spy stuff, right?
exactly. Yeah, I've never been a fan of that. I'm more like a fantasy sci-fi guy. I'm
But
more
people
like
who
a
do like it are loving his books, and he's getting a movie adaptation. Shad Brooks is getting an adaptation of his book. It's kind of more fan made, but he's getting an adaptation.
Well, then you got recently the Vox Machina.
Yeah,
They're a
doing
lot
their own
bigger,
thing.
but they crowdfunded their own season, and I think season 2 is going to come out pretty soon here too.
You got Razor Fist. He's a big YouTuber. He's writing a bunch of books. What's the other one?
Well, look at I don't know if you guys have seen any of the stuff from the Daily Wire. Ben Shapiro
yeah,
launched
yeah.
his own stuff.
Daily Wire.
Yeah. Yeah, they did
Good stuff.
the school shooter one. I can't remember what they called it.
Run, hide, fight.
Run, hide,
It's
fight.
actually pretty good. I
It's
like
really good.
It's
and-
not perfect. It's got flaws.
Yeah,
I've
but
got
it
critiques.
was-
I mean,
the movies
considering that was
here
their
in
first big
Mexico, right?
film, right? And they did it on a low budget. And not to
Yes.
mention, like, that's how you write a female lead.
Mhm.
Like, that's how you write a female lead. I mean,
Yes.
granted, there's some cheesy parts and there's some other parts, but for a female lead, like, that's how you do it.
Yes, and
That's
I
actually-
just love
And
that
then they brought in
yes.
Gina Carino for her Western. I don't know if you guys have seen that one.
I have
Haven't
not
seen
seen that one yet. I really
Really
liked
good.
Shut In was the other one they did. It was
Yeah,
just
they did it. I haven't seen Shut In.
I liked it.
I haven't seen Shut In, but I did see Gina Carino, Terror on the Prairie, I believe it's called.
Yeah.
It's
I haven't seen it.
again. That's how you write, and that was her baby. Apparently, that was her show from the beginning. That she
Yep.
pitched.
And
to the
I
studio.
think she said she had another idea she wanted to do as well.
Yeah.
And that one didn't work out, so they made this other idea first.
So
There should be another one coming out.
So what happened? What
next
happened was they were working on a film, but then COVID restrictions made it impossible to shoot. So they pivoted to Terror on the Prairie. So that wasn't her idea from the beginning. They are
Okay.
still going to do her movie now that restrictions are over.
Gotcha. Yeah, and Terror on the Prairie is actually it's an old Western one. It was really good. Yeah, I liked it. Were there
Yeah,
flaws?
I'm looking
Sure.
forward to seeing that one.
Especially because it's a brand new studio. They're getting new directors. They're trying to stay away from all the political stuff, and they're just trying to make a good show. And they've done it. But I mean, yeah, they don't have the $150 million budget for a movie. They've got 30, right?
Mhm.
But
Right.
for what they did, you couldn't tell. You would not be able really, for the most part, to tell that this movie was done on a $30 million budget compared to a movie that was done on a $180 million budget. You really
Exactly. Hollywood is slowly losing their power. They're losing their monopoly, and you can see it with all this decentralized entertainment that is getting bigger and bigger and bigger every day. People are realizing, hey, we don't need Hollywood to make cool stuff. But in addition to that, the old way of making movies doesn't work anymore. The star power does not exist. You can't make money on a movie just from putting Brad Pitt in it anymore.
Not anymore.
When
Right.
it's because it's become decentralized, because you have these indie movies that blow up with no names in them, people don't care anymore. So
Yeah.
Hollywood is slowly losing its grip. And this comment, I think, is a great. I don't think you realize what you're saying here, because it mirrors something that TheAngryMexa said. Is you literally said, I'm not even watching these shows anymore. I'm watching YouTubers talk about the shows, which is what you're saying here too. You didn't even watch Rings of Power, which they spent $1 billion on.
Your
only exposure to it was through YouTubers.
what $1.8
Hollywood
million
is
a minute?
Losing because of me specifically.
Well, I read an article, and I think they're figuring that out, and it's freaking them out because I just read an article, I believe it was on Forbes, where they said that Tom Cruise is the last movie.
Yeah.
They said Tom Cruise is it. That's it.
I
We're done with movie
would
stars.
say The Rock has some of that star power too, but it's dying. Like Black Adam isn't doing as well as they want it to. It just because The Rock is in it. But yeah.
Well, then they get rid of.
I will see anything that Tom Cruise is in. So
Yeah.
he still has that. He still has that power. And there are a couple of directors that have it too, like Quentin Tarantino. People are going to go see it just because his name's on there.
If he ever does another movie again,
Christopher Nolan, people are going to go see it just because Christopher Nolan. And
Peter Jackson ever does something.
yeah, but Peter Jackson did the cities that eat each other movie, and no one watched it.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Mortal.
No, that wasn't directed by him. That was produced by him. They got him to produce it. It
I
was
thought he
produced by
directed it.
Peter Jackson's. It was produced by Peter Jackson in his studio. It was not directed by him.
That could be.
I'm pretty sure. I am 90% sure that's what it was. Produced by Peter Jackson.
Yeah, but even that is start power from directors is diluting.
It wasn't Mortal Instruments. It's
Because I mean, like I said, Quentin Tarantino, Guillermo del Toro, for example, he had
Mortal
some.
Engines. Sorry, go on.
Oh yeah, he had some great movies. Like his first movies, like the fauns. I don't know how you call it in English, but Laberinto del Fauno. Such such a
Pan's
good.
Labyrinth.
Pan's Labyrinth.
Yeah.
It's way better in Spanish.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant. I mean, it's a Spanish movie, right?
I love it.
They made it in Franco's time. It's great. And then he made other stuff. Even Pacific Rim is really good.
Yeah.
Well, the first one,
The first one's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's done some
And
weird ones though. He did like The Shape of Water.
Yeah, no one wants to watch you have sex with a fish. I'm sorry.
exactly. I was like, dude, my God.
Yeah,
But he has something with the fish because he also had that other character in Hellboy. He was like the fish had too much screen time, and
I liked
he
it better
was,
when Del Toro was
unnervingly-
having fun.
Mhm.
Del Toro
also
used
did-
to have a lot of fun with his movies, and now his movies are just sad and depressing. Like I watched the Carnival one, the Nightmare Alley, and yes, it was good. It was just so depressing that like
So
I
grim,
didn't
yeah.
want to watch it.
Didn't he do Blade?
2,
Oh.
Blade 2.
fantastic. Blade
Yeah.
1
Mhm.
is really not that good. Blade 2
Blade
is
2 is
awesome,
yeah.
and then
By the
Blade
way,
3 is just the
It's
worst thing ever.
I hate how they're like I do hate how Disney or Marvel's like look at these
It's the first black superhero, yeah.
and here's Blade like what. Like,
Directed by Guillermo del Toro, but we're just gonna lie. Oh no, I know. The whole campaign for Black Panther was such a
Yeah.
lie.
Yeah,
I think
it
that
was.
Martina girl had a really good comment about Henry Cavill. I think he also has
Yeah,
good star power. Like I
does.
will watch anything
Yeah.
with Henry
But-
Cavill.
but even
But
so, it's
they're-
a handful. There
kicked
are
him
a
off of-
handful of stars left that can
Right.
pull an audience.
And they but the problem is they kick if these stars don't fully go with what the writers or whatever wants to do, they
They're
kick them off.
they're kicked
And
out like
that's a-
Henry Cavill.
They kicked Henry Cavill off of The Witcher. And
He quit.
there's plenty of
They didn't kick him off. He quit.
oh well he
But
quit.
they forced him to quit.
They forced him to no.
Because they
They
wouldn't
were getting
listen
mad
to him.
because he told the producers that he was passionate about it. He's read all the books, he's played the video games. The only reason why they have The Witcher as a TV series is because the video game was so popular, especially The Witcher 3 was so freaking popular.
So
One of the
good.
best video games of all time.
Here.
Mhm.
I was going to bring this up later, but we're talking about it too soon. So
Yeah, bring it up.
So-
but they kick him off because he quits, but they fired him because he would tell them in the middle of the play, someone would pronounce a word or someone would say something, and he'd go, "That's not how the elves pronounce it in this. They pronounce it like this."
I will say they wanted him to stay on, but because they were unwilling to change, he left. And I'll show you the proof here. So fans are already upset. They're saying we're not going to watch The Witcher season 4 if Henry Cavill isn't in it. So they're petitioning to bring him back.
And they're
but this is what he said.
Take his place.
The worst Hemsworth brother.
That's the Hemsworth brother that was in Hunger Games.
Yeah. So here's the proof. So he's repeatedly said this over and over that he will play The Witcher.
Oh my god!
He will continue to play The Witcher as long as possible, just as long as he says, "I will continue to play The Witcher." He was committed to 7 seasons. Right here. Okay. He said, "I will play The Witcher as long as the showrunners continue making high quality programming." But specifically, he wanted to make sure that they were faithful to the author's vision.
Yep.
That is the reason he's gone. We just talked about it last week. You might have missed it, Corwin. We have evidence now from a producer who quit The Witcher. He came out on record saying that the showrunners and the writers actively disliked the books and the games.
Yes, I saw that article.
And
Yes.
here, this is the showrunner. Let's look at her bio on Twitter, and we wonder why she hates The Witcher. So
Patriarchy smasher.
Because a man did it.
But the thing, like, there's so many powerful female characters in The Witcher. The person who can bring an end to the world.
There are arguably way
It's the
more
little girl.
strong female characters in The Witcher than there are male characters. Like
The only one
and
strong
The
male
Witcher
character.
is Geralt is like and Geralt and
and
his
the other
mentor
Witchers.
guy.
Yeah,
His
exactly.
mentor guy is like a
Mhm.
prominent character.
Vesemir.
The rest are like all women.
Exactly. Yeah, and basically, most people on Casa, I was gonna say Casa Doom, but no, the place where they train I totally forgot the name. The place where
David,
they train.
your wife has got a Cavill fetish for sure.
Oh yes, no doubt about it.
You gotta start using that mask, man.
Does she make you wear like a
Henry
big
Cavill.
blonde
No,
wig in the bedroom?
no, but sometimes she makes me, talk in the voice.
Bro, Star Wars is so dead that it's way funner to talk about.
Yeah, this is literally what this show's about. Like, they don't make good movies like this anymore. Like, occasionally, like 1 out of every 20, you'll get a good movie like Bullet Train or Top Gun Maverick. But they are. It is so rare that you get good movies nowadays.
Yeah, it's funny
When,
that
in the 80s and 90s, they were popping out bangers left and right.
yes.
So the bigger question, though, is:
2 3
do you
times a
think we
year.
could crowdfund to get David a Witcher outfit?
Oh dear.
You gotta make it spandex.
Let's move on.
You might have to add one of those little padded things that give you abs,
Oh my god.
Yep.
I like this question. Do I expect the Willow series to be really bad? Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
I think Willow is going to be horrible, and I'm pissed off about it because Willow is
The movie was really good.
is in my top 10 movies of all time.
Yeah, that movie.
I freaking love Val Kilmer. He's so freaking hot in it, but even more hot is the chick. Oh, I had the biggest freaking crush on the daughter of the witch. I can't remember her name, but holy crap, I liked her. That movie is so good. It's got a great message. It's got great effects, and they're all practical. And it's I freaking love Willow. And the trailer is problematic. You've got lesbians kissing. You've got a complete inattention to detail when it comes to the props. There's a scene where if you look at the quiver that one of the ladies is carrying around, they are modern. It's just modern arrows. The fletching. They didn't even bother like replacing the arrows with like feathers.
Yeah.
It's going to be hot garbage, and it's not going to have Val Kilmer in it, and we are going to watch it on the show and tear it apart.
It just comes to the same thing. It's the same people that are writing the scripts.
It's Disney.
They're all in the same groups. So it's the same people. They're going to have the same issues. They're going to push the same stuff like they did with She-Hulk. They're going to do the same stuff they did with Rings of Power. It's all the same groups, and they can't come up with anything super original. They just can't do it anymore. There's nothing original. Everything is a remake. Everything is a remaster. Everything is a sequel or a prequel. They don't even. I think there was a comment a little further up that just said, "Why didn't Disney use like the Old Republic rather than the sequels? If they would have just done it, because they don't have the knowledge, they don't have the nerddom, they don't." have
I think that's disingenuous, though, Corwin. They have the books. They literally. It's not that they don't have the knowledge. It's that they don't have the desire.
They don't care.
Which means they don't have the knowledge.
They don't have the
desire. They don't have
like
the desire
they literally would just have to like they could have just taken the Wheel of Time book and just cut out a couple of chapters to make it shorter and made a perfect season of the Wheel of Time. But they're so arrogant. Like when they're making these Star Wars movies, they don't want to do the Old Republic because people aren't nostalgic for the old. Like they don't even. They're so stupid. Like they want to use the recognizable IP to sell their message.
Oh, maybe Mark agrees, right? Maybe they actually had to use the royalty, pay royalties to use the books. No,
they wouldn't.
No, they owned it all.
They own it all.
That's possibly why they changed the pronunciation of Namor in Black Panther. People are speculating that they don't even have rights to Namor. which is why they made him Hispanic, and instead of
Namor.
Atlantis, they changed it to the sunken city of Tekelcan or whatever.
That look kinda.
Like that's not a thing.
That doesn't
Okay,
even make any
you
sense,
could have
bro.
just like they don't have so they pronounce him Namor, and the freaking showrunner in an interview just
Namor.
said, yeah, we call him Namor because he's a niño sin amor, so it's Namor. He was never loved. I'm like, are you? Oh,
Is that
I
what
want
they
to kill.
really did?
Oh, it's so gross.
Un niño sin amor.
That
Manches.
girl just
Wow.
that producer just shows you that there also can be really really white wenches in Mexico. Like the whitest wench out there is that girl saying "El niño sin amor."
Yes, but Mark is right. Disney's been doing some skeezy stuff to avoid paying
Mhm.
royalties.
Yeah.
The creator of the Falcon didn't get anything for Falcon and Winter Soldier or for his appearance in those movies. Not the Falcon. The Winter Soldier didn't get any of. I'm sure they didn't pay the creator of the Falcon either. But
Yeah. See, but that's a Marvel thing. That's a completely separate thing. With Star
Yeah,
Wars,
so
they
that is
bought
studio.
everything.
They
have
bought it.
all
Yeah,
the rights.
Star Wars. So
to
what
everything Star Wars. I don't
what
think they have
originally-
any royalties to pay.
what originally panned out was when Star Wars became this massive hit, George Lucas didn't expect it to be so big. And so a million authors, I don't know for some strange reason, he didn't have the royalties to all the books or the world in and of itself that he created. And so if you go back into the old books, we're talking 70s, 80s books, it will have whatever author or whatever print factory or whatever publisher on the back of it. And then after, I believe it was The Empire Strikes Back, I want to say, or maybe it was The Return of the Jedi, he had enough money to buy everything. So George Lucas bought his entire world, and so everything had to go through him. That's why every book, every show, every video game, every comic had to go through him.
yeah,
And Mark, you're wrong on this one. Star Wars authors haven't had the rights because they don't have the rights. They would go to George Lucas or now Disney and say, I would like to write a book. And they go, great, we will give you X amount of money for the book. They don't give George Lucas hasn't given any royalties for any of his stuff since he bought it back, I believe, back in like 88 or 89.
I just found this out this week. They asked George Lucas to be the CEO of Disney.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, after
I heard a rumor
And
that was happening.
he said, no, I just like making movies. I wouldn't be good at the job. And I kind of respect him
probably right
for that.
He's probably right.
He wants to retire. Let him retire.
This was a long time ago. This was like 20 years ago.
That makes sense.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This was before
Probably
Bob Chapek.
the-
This was
okay.
before Bob Chapek.
Gotcha.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, we need a replacement for Walt Disney. Do you want to do it? It's like, no, I wouldn't enjoy that, and I don't think I'd do a good job. And I really appreciate that. Like,
Mhm.
I think that is a commendable attitude to have. So
Yeah, it's just like the Anthony Hopkins saying, "Don't listen to our opinions. We are just actors. We are brain dead." Yes.
they don't know how the
So-
real world works.
so I
they
need to
haven't
correct myself. I'm
lived
just
in the
doing
real
some-
world for a long time.
Some research.
No way.
Since Disney bought Star Wars, they are giving royalties on the books and stuff that are sold.
On the new ones.
Yes, on the new ones. George Lucas did not. George Lucas just paid people outright if he liked it. It was, I'm going to give you $200,000 or $300,000
on the new books that are being written.
But on the new ones, after Disney bought Star Wars, they are doing royalties. So Mark is correct on that. I'm wrong on that. Mark is correct.
But they aren't paying them.
But they aren't paying them apparently.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm looking that up right now.
Yeah, there was a big movement to the Make Disney Pay was a hashtag that they weren't paying for royalties for Marvel. I'm pretty sure they're still not doing it, but Marvel and Star Wars.
Yeah, but as far as the Old Republic things, though, those were back before in Lucas's time, so they probably wouldn't have to pay royalties for the Old Republic. But,
yeah, it says, let's see, when Disney bought Lucasfilm in 2012, the checks stopped rolling for purchases on ghostwriting and whatnot. So,
Andor's good. It could have been great if the quality wouldn't have changed. I'm saying the reception would be better if you hadn't already killed off your audience. Also, it's kind of a bad name for the TV
Yeah.
show. Like, no one really cares. No, like I thought I knew who the character was, and when I first heard the title, I thought it was a planet.
Mhm.
I was like,
I
oh
was
wait, no,
like,
no,
yeah,
no. Oh wait, no, that's the character. That's Cassian Andor.
I thought they were the original planet where they are at the start of the show. I
Yeah.
was like, oh, is this place Andor?
Yeah.
is this,
is this the Andor? Hello,
is this the Andor you're talking?
it's the Pokemon meme, right? The
Mhm.
is this the Andor? Yeah, I was worried that they were going to rush the prison thing because of the whole 3-episode act. And I'm glad that they didn't, because
Yes.
then the next 3 can focus on planning
On that.
the escape.
Mhm.
And him
Although
fully
they-
joining up with the rebellion.
yeah, I think it's exciting. I think it's a good show. Can I imagine Sorry, let me read this. Can I imagine an HBO series of Conan the Barbarian made in the likeness of the first film in the 80s? They were going to make a Conan show. Amazon was. Not HBO. Amazon was slated to create a Conan the Barbarian TV show, and it got canceled because of Me Too.
It was too manly.
Yep, Me Too happened. They said, oh, sorry, we can't make a show with men in it.
Wow.
So,
Yeah, the funniest thing is the Me Too destroyed sales, but and that's what you get. While
eat
doing
their
a
own.
witch hunt. Yeah.
the left eats their own.
Mhm.
It's gross, but yeah, I don't have anything else to say about Andor other than like it's good.
Yeah.
I don't remember if there was like anything that I was thinking maybe could have been better. No,
Okay.
I think everyone's pretty.
Okay, we got some bad takes then, everybody. Here we
Yeah.
go.
Bad
Screen rants. Bad takes.
Sorry, Corin, I cut you off. You were saying something?
I will stay for bad takes.
Hell
Okay.
yeah, brother.
Now, I just want to point out that Bounding into Comics is not the one with the bad take here. They are exposing people with bad takes because people on Twitter, social activists, have been saying white people must skip Black Panther Wakanda Forever on opening weekend. To do anything other than this is anti-Black. Well, you sold me.
Yep.
We're not going to watch it. Actually, we're probably going to watch it so we can tear it apart, right?
Exactly. I want to watch. That's the only reason I want to watch it,
The
bro.
only
There's-
reason I
there's
want to
not
watch
a-
it is so I can make memes.
Not
Yeah.
on opening weekend.
So,
we'll wait a week.
The clips
we'll wait
were
a week.
So bad.
I'll wait a week on principle so that I can't be called racist. But oh my gosh, look at this take. If you go see frick. If
So do
you
you think-
go see Wakanda Forever on opening weekend, you are anti-Black. White people need to stay away so that Black people can enjoy the movie in peace. You are so racist.
Yeah.
That is
There's even
disgusting.
Do you think we could become a national controversy if we went out and bought an entire movie theater?
Ooh, and just for white people?
No,
and,
no.
And Mexicans?
No. We bought it and no one sees it. We don't let anyone in to see it.
So, we just said open, empty, like don't
It's just
buy,
empty.
buy
It's
out the
just
tickets and then
all the
don't
tickets are
go
bought.
watch.
It's just
No.
empty because white people aren't allowed to see it. It's just empty, and black
Bro.
people can't see it either because we just bought all the tickets.
Bro, do that, but then you record how you go and look for Black people in the street or something like that.
Remember
and say,
when
"Go to watch this movie."
remember when
I'm
segregation
your
was a
white
bad
savior.
thing, though, guys?
Yes.
Segregation is not good.
It's back
Yep.
on college, so on leftist colleges.
Don't go see the Disney movie Coco on opening weekend. Let all and I'm
Oh
doing this for
God.
the next. Let only Mexicans can see it on opening weekend. That's the equivalent here. I mean, the equivalent is nobody
they
goes
said
see
that.
Top
There was
Gun
a-
Maverick. Only white people can.
There
see
was a
Top
guy
Gun
on
Maverick.
Twitter. I don't have it saved anymore. There was a guy on Twitter who said that about Andor. He said, "I'm sorry, but if you have a YouTube show talking about Andor, and you don't have a Mexican on the show or a Hispanic on the show, you don't deserve an opinion, which is why we brought on the Angry Mexa.
You have all the might of the of the Mexa. Yeah.
But I'm like,
Oh.
it's not even a Hispanic show. Like the main character is kind of Hispanic,
Yeah.
right? Like,
That would have made more sense for
but
Wakanda
in
Forever
the but
because,
in the world, in the universe of the show, he's not Hispanic, right?
No, he's just a human.
He's a native
Yeah, exactly.
he's like an Indian,
Can
right?
we get,
Yo,
can we get past race already?
There are
Like,
people
I
saying
don't
It's
understand
Star Wars. There's
They're
an
saying-
alien walking down the street, and we're talking about the fact that he's a Mexican actor. Can we just get past it?
they're literally
He
telling
doesn't
white
even
people,
have the
go
accent.
buy a ticket and go give it to a black person.
That's
Because
what I'm
you
saying.
don't
If we went and
deserve
bought
to see
an
this
entire
movie.
theater out.
Yeah, but it's funny because those black folks that are extremely woke and hate whites, what do they feel about Mexicans? Because no one's mentioning Mexicans. What do I do? Like, do I have to stay in the middle of the theater, or do I have
Yeah.
to, go inside when Namor is on screen, and then go outside when it's on just Wakanda and
Yeah.
Ruri and
Wait. What about the Mexicans? Why can't Mexicans go see Black Panther: Wakanda Forever? This is the
Bro.
first time they've ever seen representation on screen in
Bro,
the
no.
history of cinema.
bro. I had a I had
So
a
you're
lefty
telling me
comment-
Hispanics can't go watch
Yo.
Black Panther?
I had a lefty come to me, talk to me on Twitter, message me and all this stuff, saying that I should have been proud of the representation that I got on Andor, something like that. And I was like, mate, like that guy is not Mexican. Mexico is not in the universe. At least they have a show.
This was a long
in
time ago in a
Mexico.
galaxy far away.
Exactly. I think
Yeah.
Mexico erased itself. Some point in the future is going to just holy moly.
That's a
And-
good answer.
Yeah, and the funniest, I was I don't know if you guys have heard of Jane Theory. You probably have seen her in
Jane Theory, yes.
Jane Theory. She was having a stream about representation and and how overused it is. But she was saying that the Namor was Aztec, and I was like, it's not Aztec, like. Oh, I was like, mate, stop calling him Aztec. Like, I know he looks like a generic Aztec, native Mexican guy, but he's Mayan at best. If they did something, and trust me that the representation of Namor is kind of decent. I was checking the armor and the spear, and it kind of looks like Mayan. The problem is that it kind of looks like Mayan meet Aztec, and
Based on
a weird,
the feathered serpent and
exactly. It's a weird combination.
Quetzalcoatl, but there's already a
a weird
Marvel
combination.
superhero called Quetzalcoatl. They
And
could
it's
just
really
used
good.
him.
Bro, and when I read the Quetzalcoatl, it's on Thor in a book where they talk about in a comic book where they talk about Thor. I read the origin story of Quetzalcoatl, and it's the same mythos that is the real mythos on Mexico. I was like blown out. It's the same names.
Wouldn't that be more representational than taking a white guy and turning him Mexican?
I was like, why aren't they doing this? And my girlfriend made like a really bad comment, saying that it's because people in Mexico care a lot about Quetzalcoatl. No one gives a crap about Quetzalcoatl. Well, Quetzalcoatl is the right pronunciation, but I love how Americans pronounce Aztec names.
Those are hard. Those are hard.
They are the hardest. Trust me, Mexicans do not pronounce them well. Like people that actually speak Nahuatl are like, dude, you don't know how to pronounce it because you pronounce it like Spanish. And
it's not.
It's not. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, their representation was decent. At least they had some real looking Mayan scripts on the hieroglyphics. They look Mayan at least, so I was like happy about that.
Yeah, I tried to convince my wife to name our newest daughter Xochitl,
Nah, bro. There are many more beautiful names. Not such it to. It's such a a meme name here in Mexico. It's
I
like
like it. I also and Zoe's a nice nickname. I like it. I just really wanted to give her a hard time, in elementary school where the teacher's like,
so
uh,
so
ku-
such.
Kuazotchikadil. I'm just gonna call it. I'm not gonna say that ever.
I forgot, David. Do you speak Spanish as well or no?
No, only very
Nah.
little. I pick out a couple words here and there, but
Don't worry, don't worry.
no, you're good.
Maximum Override. That's the Stephen King one, right? With like the demon car or the truck. Or am I thinking of a different thing?
Okay.
I think I'm right there. It's the
Look that up.
the 6, 7 wheel or 8. It's the semi truck that like tries to kill you, right?
Uh-huh.
So I thought
Yeah, I
I
think
haven't
you're
seen that
right.
one actually. Oh, but we got a lot more bad
Yeah.
takes.
Let's move some bad takes here.
Okay, so 10 signs that the 10 signs the MCU is running out of steam. This is actually a good take. Good
Yes.
job, CBR, not Screen Rant, but
Yeah, it's
same
really
company.
weird.
I want to see their takes though. Let's scroll down here.
So
it's actually good.
It's good. It's a good take. The MCU is too reliant on cheap jokes. Absolutely. Taika Waititi, case in point. The MCU didn't do certain characters justice.
Yeah, because they
Sure. Yeah,
casted
because
a terrible
Almost.
actress for the role and they butchered her.
Yeah.
And for some strange reason, Hollywood wants to make us believe that Brie Larson is the next best thing since Kate Winslet.
and then they stripped the Falcon of his identity by making him Captain America.
Yep.
Yeah, Falcon was a good character.
The Netflix shows decreased in quality. Yeah, okay, this is old.
Well,
news.
yeah, when you have Hulk,
This is very old news.
when you
Yeah,
have
the
She-Hulk
Defenders was
working
garbage.
with Megan Three
Yeah.
Stallion, then
Yep.
The Netflix shows. I mean,
Yes.
Yeah, that's the other one that doesn't really make sense because those weren't really made by
Disney.
Disney Marvel.
And they never really got it. They were technically part of the MCU, but after they broke up, they were completely retconned. So that's a bad point in a good take. The Spider-Man movies show the MCU's limitations. Absolutely.
Yes, and
And
that's
they're
something
not
I've been
even
saying.
made by Disney. They're made by Sony.
Yes, that's something I brought up before. Is that as much as I love the home Spider-Man trilogy, it doesn't feel like classic Spider-Man because he's part of this big MCU.
Yeah. It's worse for both. It's better than the MCU stuff, so it makes the MCU look bad, and it's worse than the Spider-Man stuff because Spider-Man is tainted by the MCU.
yes.
Yeah.
Hulk is
This
this is a great point. Hulk is no longer an interesting character ever since Mark Ruffalo took over.
Yeah, and this hurts me the most because I don't know if you guys know, but the Hulk is one of my favorite. Like Spider-Man in the Hulk is one of my favorite characters of all times, and it's painful because the first 2 movies, even Age of Ultron, that is so I think it's kind of underrated because Hulk was basically the whole thing about the Hulk and the Hulk leaving Earth and him struggling with Black Widow was so great.
The reason why the Hulk was still good in those movies is because when he was the Hulk, Mark Ruffalo couldn't speak.
Yeah. I did like his look
Mark
a lot
Ruffalo.
better in this, but yeah, it wasn't as good.
Yeah.
Anybody is watching that hasn't seen Angry Mexa's tribute to Bruce Banner,
It's good.
go watch it on his channel.
Some might
It's a
argue
really
it
good
ripped
video.
off my video, but
That was my first video. I
you.
for real didn't saw your video first.
it was She-Hulk is devoid of logic. There was a segment at the end that I think is quite beautiful, and it's the exact same thing that you did.
I'm gonna check it out.
It doesn't take Einstein to point out the flaws in She-Hulk. So I don't think you own the corner market in logic.
Some might say that mine was done better. So
No shame.
yeah,
No, totally, bro. I agree.
It received criticism.
Yeah.
That is it received criticism.
They made it a passive verb, right?
It received criticism. Go to hell.
It's true. Okay, it received a teeny bit of criticism. Okay,
Even in their explanation, they're like, there are some people that actually do like the show, but most people didn't like it, and they were very vocal about not liking it.
And the
So-
people who didn't
and
like
you can't
it were
discount that.
misogynistic, patriarchal.
No, they don't even go into that. They're just like,
I only
hey,
have
people didn't like it,
But-
and you can't discount that. So-
I only
Read
have
the
one
last
thing.
line.
Okay, but
Re-
I only have one thing
Huh.
to say to people who liked She-Hulk, and it's this. Yes, I love that. Read
love
this sentence or this one.
Yeah, the last. Yes, exactly that one.
Attorney at Law has made fewer people excited for the future of MCU shows. Yeah,
That's completely true. Yeah.
Exactly.
absolutely. It makes me not want to watch Daredevil Reborn.
Daredevil.
Even if you were excited for it, it confuses the
totally-
canon. What is
Yeah.
it? What does it mean for the MCU anymore?
Means anything anymore.
It's just a mess.
Lots of fans left after Endgame. No, I disagree with this. Well, yes, but not because they were done with the MCU because of Endgame. They left after Endgame because after Endgame you didn't do anything good.
No.
People
Yeah.
like you could have
Well,
man with the hype that Endgame got, you could have bounced on to
Totally.
even greater heights.
well,
People
I
were
might be
on
alone in
board.
this camp, but I think that the only reason Endgame did so good is because of the success before it. I didn't really enjoy
Infinity Wars.
Endgame that much.
I didn't either.
Infinity
Yeah,
War
Endgame-
was fantastic.
Hell
Endgame kind of fell flat for me, and so that's I think where it started to die off for me.
I agree with that.
Mhm.
All right, move on.
Okay. More fans are voicing their dislike of the franchise. Okay, this is the point that's like not saying
That's
anything at all.
redundant. They've already been talking about that.
The box
Yeah.
office numbers don't motivate the MCU to make better movies.
Ding ding ding.
No, that's dumb. The box office numbers should motivate the MCU to make better movies.
Yep.
This is a bad point.
You make a good movie, you get money. You make a crap movie, you
Period.
don't get money.
Their box office has
Yeah.
been horrible
No.
since Endgame. The only one that did well, remotely well, was
That's-
Spider-Man.
That's
No way,
not
Tom,
that's
huh?
not what
It's
they're
not even
saying though.
Disney.
If you read what they're saying even though the movies aren't that great, the MCU name turns people up to the theaters, so people
Oh.
will
It
go
does
and see
not
it.
anymore, though. It doesn't.
But
Their
more
numbers
than-
have been abysmal.
They have, you're
Okay,
right,
yeah.
but still more than a non-MCU film.
Yeah,
That's what they're
Eternals
saying.
did worse than
People,
even Shang-Chi. Yeah.
yeah,
But it's a loss for Disney, though. Like,
yes, absolutely.
I
But
disagree with
they're-
this point.
what they're saying is they are
They
still
don't
making
need
money.
the numbers.
And because they are still making some sort of money, and it's not every project is not a huge financial bomb,
Mhm.
financial flop. They're not going to learn their lesson because all they look at is the numbers.
I
And those-
definitely agree with this point. Batman and Spider-Man have the best rogues gallery
Exactly.
by a long
Mhm.
shot.
Yep.
Best villains.
And
Yeah.
and also not only that, they have the best villains, but I think also what makes them great is they're two of the most relatable heroes as well.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Spider-Man is just some high
I know.
schooler dude.
We're
fresh-
all just
fresh out of high
rich,
school.
rich billionaire
Well,
orphans.
But he doesn't.
Who,
But Batman is rich, sure, but he
No,
doesn't have any
no.
superpowers,
I know,
right?
I'm
Well,
making,
I don't know
I'm
about
making a
you.
joke. That's the thing. I'm making a joke, but I'm not. Like
Yeah.
the fact that people say like, "Oh, I can't relate to a character unless he shares the same skin color as me," is so freaking stupid. Because everyone relates to Batman, even though none of us are billionaire orphans who trained and got washboard abs to learn to fight bad guys. The reason we can relate to Batman, even though we have absolutely nothing in common, is because of his humanity.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
Exactly.
because of his
Say
attitude.
what you want about
Totally
your
different.
$1 billion. I bought that $2 billion lottery ticket tonight. So
And say
Oh
what you
yeah,
want
the
about your
lottery.
abs. I
Good
got
luck.
you
brother.
say that. That
Good
makes
luck, my
at
brother.
least 3 of us in this room aren't billionaires.
Yeah, but this number one, it
This is a good point.
surprised me. That is the number one reason why this phase 4 is not landing.
Yeah, Doctor Strange was not about Doctor Strange. It was about America Chavez and Wanda Maximoff.
Mhm.
They don't care about the main heroes. They care about the MCU. So
All right.
Good point.
With that, I do need to go get my kids to bed. I can hear my wife getting ready to pull
Okay.
her hair out. So
All
it was
right,
fun, guys. I appreciate
Thanks
it.
for
We will see you
joining
next
bye,
week.
Corwin.
That's great,
Yeah.
bro. See you.
Always a
around.
pleasure.
we got more, baby. So this is good. This is a good take. It's not even a take. It's just news. But the Rings of Power audience shrank every single week. We were speculating
Does
on
that
it. They
include the
finally released
finale?
the numbers. Every single week, this show lost viewership.
20%. Holy moly, 20%.
Does it give
the
the actual
the first
numbers?
week?
'Cause-
So we talked about this
It
before.
says
yeah.
This is the average. It averaged 20% loss
Oh my
week
gosh.
by week. The first week,
awful.
though, because they aired the first 2 episodes. We've talked about this before. They aired the first 2 episodes the same week. And then week 3, the gap between episodes 2 and 3, week 1 and 2, was a 60% drop.
Yeah.
That is
absolutely
unheard of. So,
not even the Wheel of Time.
yeah.
And I was wondering if
But wait,
by
this is,
maybe
this
by
is,
the finale or maybe by episode 7, but nobody was watching by then. Nobody knew even when the show was supposed to end because
yeah,
it
they didn't
ended
even know
so
when the
early.
show was airing because they kept changing the time that the show was airing. But this is confusing to me. This doesn't track. This doesn't make sense because last week we talked about how shows like The Rings of Power and She-Hulk have been runaway successes. Why can't Keyboard Warriors admit it?
Yeah.
I mean, Mark Burrows is just
Because it's a lie.
he's a famous liar. Mhm.
Yeah.
I like bats.
Must be.
I must be Man Bat. Yeah, you must relate really well to Man Bat and Batman. I feel representation when I see the penguin on screen because I'm a fatty. Here we go.
Who laughing?
Okay. Rings of Power
Okay.
writers explained why they changed Tolkien's canon.
Oh,
Spoiler alert, they don't. But
They don't
So-
explain it. They
No.
did change canon. They don't
They don't-
explain. Yeah.
they don't explain anything. So they
Also, we were told up until 2 minutes ago that they didn't change canon.
they didn't. You're right. They were super faithful. But
Yeah.
if they happened, if by the off chance they happened to change canon, why would they have done that? Well, okay, so we wanted a foil for Galadriel. Someone running from their past and a bit checked out that she could pull back in because she's so driven, and so that's how Halbrand came up. Is they wanted to create Sauron around Galadriel.
oh my
So
God.
first off, they ruined Galadriel's character, and then changed Sauron to center around Galadriel's horribly changed character. We think about things like making sure that Halbrand is internally consistent for Halbrand and for Sauron. If you go back and look at the decisions he's making, you can read them for either character. Bull crap.
Yeah.
How is Halbrand saving children while the volcano is going off behind Galadriel's back while she stands there and does nothing like an absolute moron? How is that consistent with Sauron? How is him like he has no plan? He wants to just stay on Numenor and make swords. That's very consistent with Sauron's character. Yeah, and he literally says it at the end. It wasn't I didn't want to do any of this, and it was you, Galadriel, who pulled me back and told me that I could be a Dark Lord.
Yeah.
How is that consistent? This is bullcrap.
You gotta. I don't know if you have watched it yet, but the Disparu has such a great video breaking down the interview they had right after the finale, and it's just, my God, these people are insanely driven by ego.
They're so
Holy
egotistical.
moly!
Yeah.
And they even say something like they basically said Tolkien was dumb. Like they changed that what Tolkien said, and they would have done some things different because some things that he said was dumb.
But even here, they're talking about the changes that they are making. They're not saying why they decided to change canon, because the answer they can't admit. They can't admit that they think they're better than Tolkien.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, they
But
kind of did in the interview. I mean, it's subtext, but they said it. You know, if you go and watch the Disparo video where he breaks down the interview, they basically said it.
Disparu, yes, yes, I love him.
Yes, Disparo.
I thought you were
Yeah.
saying the Sparrow. I'm like,
No, I
I haven't heard of that guy. No, Disparu is great.
Yeah, Disparo is so
Hey,
awesome.
I just want to put this out there. I liked Disparu before he was popular.
Nice.
I was watching his videos before he got on Friday Night Tights, and I was actually gonna invite him on the show, and then he blew up like the next week, and I'm like, well, there's no way he's gonna listen to me now. So
yeah.
I would love to get him on the show. That'd be great. Yeah. So much of what we like to do is make reference to the stories in the books by completely disregarding them. This is so bullcrap.
Yep.
I can't even listen to them speak. It's just asinine stuff.
It's gonna drive you insane. You're gonna like everything they say is like you said, it's asinine. Like
Ooh, yeah, that would make a good show.
mhm.
40K. I'm assuming you've seen the Astartes short, right? The fan made.
Yes.
Just
That's
called
really
it.
good.
Holy crap! That is the coolest thing I've ever watched, and I would love to see a Warhammer TV show.
I wanna watch it. Start this, you said?
Yeah, I believe I'll put it in the chat.
Yeah, it's one of
Cool.
those fan films we're talking about. He made one on Warhammer 40K, and if it's the one I'm thinking of, it's like it almost looks photoreal at some points.
It's so
amazing.
good. Yeah, it's just called Astartes on YouTube. Look it up. That'll
Nice.
be the first.
I'm gonna look it up because
So it came out
after
episodically, but you can watch the whole thing as a whole. It is so freaking cool.
yeah, Henry Cavill got me into looking out 40 Warhammer. At least I've been playing the games and they're really fun.
Yeah, it's expensive hobby, and I'm already into painting D&D
Mhm.
minis, and I cannot afford to get into 40Ks as well. So
Yep.
Yeah, no, it's expensive, but I've been just doing it with the video games. For me,
Oh,
they
yeah.
are free.
yeah, it's fun. It's fun stuff. But here we got a return of a fan favorite of ours. Will the House of the Dragon air a new episode tonight on October 30th? This was last week.
No, what? Oh my
This-
gosh!
Why? Who is this for?
They did all the shows.
If you've watched the
They were
show,
done.
then
It's over.
then you know that it's over. If you're not watching the show, why would you care about the new episode? Wouldn't you start from the beginning? This is the epitome of clickbait. It's so stupid.
It's one of those articles that cost $20 to make. You know, like
It literally, yeah,
they
it
pay
literally
$20
just exists.
for yeah.
It
get
exists
paid.
to exist, so that some sap like me will click on it and they get advertiser money.
Yeah.
I hate it so much. This is actually a surprisingly good take. So disregard the title because it's clickbait. Okay, House of the Dragon won this fall season just because of Rings of Power. Now, this article is arguing against the title, so it's actually makes a good point. But they're talking about how there were some crazies on Reddit who were saying the only reason House of the Dragon is doing well is because the Rings of Power sucks so much, and this actually it makes a good point into saying that's just completely wrong. So yeah, it had weaknesses. It was slow, but people still liked it even though it was slow because the writing was good, right?
Mhm.
But the best point is no. Sorry, I lost my place.
But yeah,
The best point is here.
Okay,
So,
nice.
so normally the viewers would have had to held showrunners accountable for their bad decisions, as they did with Game of Thrones before, right? This is what the Redditor was saying, right? So the plot was slow, convoluted, time skips. There were huge swaths of missing character development, which I just completely disagree with. So it hindered the audience's investment in the characters, and it was plagued by stupid plot turns. Just the one, really, just the one, and deviations from the source material. If you're familiar
Really
with the
small.
source material, you would know that this is complete bullcrap because the point
Mhm.
of the source material is that it's an
That there's
unreliable source.
deviations. Yes.
But here's the good point. Like, so, because people hated Game of Thrones, you would think that they would hate Rings. They would hate
Okay.
House of the Dragon, but they're not. The only reason they're liking it is because Rings of Power is bad. But this didn't happen because there was an example of a terrible show, and so that's the only reason they're forgiving House of the Dragon is solely because it's not as bad as Rings of Power. Here we go. By this point, there's no question which of the two fantasy shows is the superior one. Okay, at least on their first seasons, everything may change in the future, right? Game of Thrones, like this could come crashing down, sure, right? But that hardly would have been the reason for fans burned by the Game of Thrones finale to auto approve House of the Dragon if the latter was not genuinely good.
Exactly.
The difference between Rings of Power and House of the Dragon is that House of the Dragon had everything working against it, and Rings of Power had everything working for it. And yet somehow one of them created a show so awful that despite all of the built-in momentum, completely crashed. And the other, despite all of the people who were really, really, really not excited for Game of Thrones to be back because they were so spurned by the finale, despite of that, they overcame it because of the momentum of the show, because of how good it was.
I have an unpopular opinion here that I was really excited for House of the Dragon, regardless of Game of Thrones. Obviously, the interviews were abysmal, and they were like, "Oh my god, this is going to be just like Rings of Power." But after the finale, I know the finale was horrific. I watched it for comedy.
It's literally the worst finale of all time.
I literally watch it for comedy because it's so hilarious when they say, "Oh, Brand the Brook," and I'm like, it's just so funny. That's why I think
Daenerys sort of just forgot about the Iron Fleet.
Bro, and Daenerys suddenly gets like bipolar disorder or something. She just gets maniacal, and I mean, we can rant and rant about how bad the season 8 was, but I was still excited for Game of Thrones because I love Game of Thrones. It was like,
in its prime, it was fantastic.
Yeah, and I the funniest thing is that I just watched Game of Thrones this year. Like this year, I just 2 months ago was the first time I saw the first season all throughout all to the ending. And well, maybe that's why and I was really fresh on that disappointment of the finale, but no, I was excited, and I'm pretty happy of the result. I'm pretty happy that not only fans are coming back to the IP, but it has some great foundation for the future. And I don't think it can flop. I don't think there's no way they make something so bad as season 8, and there's no way they make something as horrific as the Rings of Power. So this is not going to flop, even if they fire everyone and the only kids that are left are the sons of Rhaenyra.
Yeah. And I understand a lot of people like you were still excited for House of the Dragon, but a lot of people weren't, just because of how bad season 8 was. Like this was my stance, and this is what a lot of people felt. They weren't excited for it, and completely changed their minds. So it's not because Rings of Power was bad.
Yeah.
That people liked House of the Dragon. It's because House of the Dragon was good. They played it brilliantly, though. They got more viewership because of Rings of Power, but the viewers wouldn't have stayed if it wasn't good. So
exactly.
I've got some funny tweets. Okay. This is a horrible take.
Oh dear.
Of all journalists killed in 2021, 11% were women. In 2022, this was only 6%. On the International Day to End Impunity for Crimes Against Journalists, let's say out loud, stop targeting women journalists. Do you see what's wrong with you see what's wrong with this? Um oh gosh, I can't.
Bro, that happens when leftists don't know how to do math,
Look,
and
look,
they're
look,
like, "Oh, what's the rest of
look.
100%?"
Obviously, I don't want women journalists to die. Okay, but
I
what
mean,
you're not
after
saying here is that 90% of journalists who were killed were men. And this number is too high. We really want it to be 100% of journalists who are killed to be men.
Yep.
Just say stop targeting
journalists,
journalists. Okay?
yes,
That's what you need to say here. Because if you read more into this, these are really good odds.
great.
Yeah.
Those are great odds. Those are rookie numbers. You got to get those numbers up if you want equality. It should be 50%.
I was going to make that joke. Like you said that I don't want female journalists obviously to get targeted, but I was like, no, F it. I want it to.
Equality.
So the number goes a little bit, just
But,
a little bit.
they're-
Just
they are so
just a
arrogant,
bit.
right? And this is the problem with feminism, right? I love females, okay? I'm married to a female because I like femininity, okay?
Yeah.
This is the problem with feminism, though. They are so arrogant and set in their ways, they don't even realize what they're saying here is so moronic.
Right.
They got ratio to
It's-
hell, something like that, right?
Yeah. The only reason I saw this tweet was because of you. You commented on this, and so it popped up in my timeline, and I was like, "This is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life."
Yo, yeah, I was so
It-
angry at that. In
So,
Mexico, they kill male journalists for sport. Like
yeah,
sometimes they don't even say dude. Like the other time, they say something so. There was a guy that said something about something like something. I'm just going to make an example because I don't remember quite the thing that he said, but he said something like. Andrés Manuel López Obrador, the president of Mexico, doesn't like tacos. Imagine that. Uh, he gets killed in a restaurant while he was sitting with his family in front of his family.
Yep.
They wound some of his kid. It was insane, and everyone was like in the restaurant was like, "What the hell is going on?" And then they say, "Oh, it's a journalist." Ah, okay, makes sense. and they kill them for sport in Mexico, journalists. You cannot say anything truthful. Like I cannot. The reason I'm not going into politics and talking about the border and all stuff because I'm afraid that if I say something because I already show my face, it's like you can get killed any
Yeah.
day. It's scary. It's scary living in Mexico and saying trying to speak the truth. Yeah, that's why I don't like. And you were asking me earlier before the
Yeah.
stream, like, why do I like American politics? Because it's free. It's free. Freedom of speech. It's so oof, and I can say anything I want about American politics. And well, maybe I cannot go outside with my MAGA hat on because they're gonna beat me up. But at least I can say anything I want on Twitter. But if I say something I wrong about the wrong kind of people, I don't want to say it aloud. I don't want to name them aloud. But I cannot say the wrong thing because I will
Yeah.
end up on a ditch.
Yeah.
I lived in Mexico for 2 years. I absolutely love the people. I love the place, but the country scares the hell out of me.
It's scary, bro. Yeah.
I don't know if I can ever take my family to visit the places that I was at.
Yeah, I know. You cannot take any of them to Guadalajara, man. Like that
No.
place is
No.
wild right now. Yeah, the Cartel Jalisco. Holy moly, guacamole. Yeah.
You know,
Mm.
there are a couple of resorts I could take my family to, but they won't see the real Mexico.
Yeah,
Not
exactly.
a,
And it's
not a
not even
chance.
the real Mexico. I mean, you know, there's still beauty in the beaches.
Yeah. Yes, Martina. These are the kind of women that I like. I like them pregnant. I like them candy. I guess is what you're trying to say.
Sweet.
I
This
like
is also this is
candy.
also a representation of the kind of women I like.
I mean, if they know how to make a taco, you're lucky. You're
Mhm.
lucky, man.
Okay, here we got one more terrible tweet, and we're getting real political this stream because this one's about COVID.
Oh, lovely.
Oh,
But
don't say the name out loud, man.
no, but read the tweet though, and I think you'll
Okay.
see what I'm getting at here. Some perspective for those who still don't get it. If I were forced to be infected with either HIV or COVID, I would choose HIV without hesitation.
Who said that?
Here's the thing though.
Oh, wow.
I've had COVID. I got the jab too, and I still got it. It wasn't pleasant, but it didn't leave me with a permanent autoimmune deficiency, like HIV does.
Yep.
It's just holy moly, what? And I bet there's some people that had HIV in his Twitter
They're saying,
feed
"Are you
saying, "Oh,
kidding,
you're
bro? I take COVID in a heartbeat over this."
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
but people are saying
So
like,
ridiculous.
at least there's working medication for HIV. Like, okay,
That's a good point.
Here's the thing, though. There is medication, but
doesn't.
you will always have HIV.
Right.
It
It treats with
it
the
stops
symptoms.
it from getting worse. It doesn't treat the disease.
and you still
Exactly.
get I mean you still progressively get worse health, and it's I mean is
This
he
is
talking
the
about prep?
stupidest thing I've ever read.
Is he talking about prep or something that
No, because these are the permanent, because this plate thing, it's so scary. It will leave you with permanent damage to this kind of stuff that the HIV is just not even nearly as bad.
bro, like
this is literal fear mongering.
Yeah.
there was an article in that you cannot even post it, probably you cannot even say
Yeah.
it in YouTube, but you know that about the real long time consequences of the virus. Let's just say that.
Yeah, you gotta dance around a lot of it on YouTube. But
Mhm.
I didn't say anything negative, okay? So you can't take this down. I was just saying
You gotta say
I
go
think
to the
HIV is
doctor.
probably a little bit worse, okay? Okay? That shouldn't be a hot take.
Yeah, I
You
mean
can't demonetize me.
the death rate alone. I mean,
Yeah. Okay, but we got through
Okay.
the bad takes, so we got to wash it down with a nice meme. We're a little bit late for Halloween, but it's fine. It's fine. Okay. Jesus is aware that your harvest festival is really a Halloween party, guys. Just want you to know.
Yes, he's angry.
Oh, it's funny. I think it's silly when Christians
Don't
get
celebrate
up-
Halloween.
get
Demonize
uptight
things.
about Halloween. And
Yeah.
I get it, but also it's a huge overreaction and you're being a little stupid. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Obviously, like there's satanic stuff, but that's not really when people celebrate Halloween.
Mhm.
That's not what they're doing. Okay.
And when you
Exactly.
go when you
They're
get down to
dressing up
the-
like
yeah.
Mario and they're getting candy. That there's nothing satanic about
Yeah,
that.
and when you get down to
Obviously,
the
there
story
are
of
ties,
the
and
actual,
if you're doing that stuff, yeah, that's bad, and you shouldn't do that as a Christian. But
Right.
it's okay to let your kids wear costumes.
But also, I think it's hilarious that people like that point fingers. And Christmas itself used to be a pagan holiday. The Christians co-opted Christmas and said, "No, this is about Jesus now." It's like it's not what it's about anymore.
Reformation Day.
So yeah, Reformation Day. Sir.
It's okay to celebrate Christmas. It's okay to celebrate Halloween.
Halloween
unless
is
I mean,
fun.
you can
you're
celebrate
Jehovah's Witness.
always.
Sorry.
Yeah, if you want to be a good Christian, you can always celebrate Dia de los Muertos. Well, Dia de
Yes,
Muertos.
Yeah,
yes. We had
it's a good one.
a big Dia de los Muertos party here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
It was fun.
appropriated all over your culture, Billy. It's fun.
well, as long as you got some taquitos there, some
Mm.
We made some
maybe
We
some
tres
had
leches.
tamales, some weird
Yeah, we had
stuff
tres
like
leches
that.
cake.
Oh,
We
tres
had
leches cake
It
is so
was
good.
so
we
good.
had
That's
Yeah.
my
we had some
cake.
pozole. It was real good.
Oh, pozole. Yeah,
Pozole.
holy. Pozole.
It's pronounced pozole. Thank you very much.
Pozole. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Uh,
fun.
it's good times.
Yes,
Good time.
they appropriate the hell out of it, man. The thing about Mexican traditions is just an excuse to get drunk and have a party.
It really is.
Just, yeah, the 15th of September, nobody cares about the independence. No, nobody
Oh
even
yeah, yeah.
remembers.
Cinco de Mayo. I kept asking people, hey, so what's with the Cinco de Mayo? Is that a thing? There, what?
No
What's the,
one.
like? Apparently there was a revolution in one of the countries of Mexico. It was Oaxaca. No, it was
No, let me just summarize it down for you. It happened in Puebla. I actually
Puebla. It was
live
Puebla.
there. Yeah, I
Yeah,
actually live there. I love Puebla. It's like the chillest.
mochilas
Yeah.
para Miguelito. That's what I know how to say.
uh
Ponte la de
yeah.
Puebla. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Um it's a chill place to live. There's not that much of cartels still. Um Yet.
Yet, yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah,
Puebla's not bad.
the whole Cinco de Mayo thing, it was just so dumb. Apparently, during the revolution, or not during the independence, sorry, there was a French bakery that was destroyed, um, and something like that. So a huge, basically, what would have been nowadays an international, crime or something like that. And so they send their chiefs with the French send their chiefs, but the French were the strongest at this point. They were the strongest military in the war, and the Mexicans, we the Mexicans, claim that we defeated the strongest army in the
By
war.
destroying one of their bakeries.
No, where they send like something like 1,000 men to
Mm.
fight, and we were like 50,000, almost dying, almost losing the war there. Like for a minute, their French almost conquers
Mm.
Mexico, because after Puebla it was a free road to
Yeah,
Mexico City, because everything was destroyed by the independence. um the only reason that the French lost is because they didn't send any more people
just
here,
sheer
because
numbers.
they were dealing with some real issues there with Spain and
Yeah,
Bonaparte, and the whole deal. um
but the point of the story is there was a tiny little skirmish in Puebla
mhm.
on
Yes, I forgot the
on
point.
the 5th
Yeah,
of May.
I forgot the point. Yes, they fought 3 battles, and obviously they kept walking. Imagine that they arrive in Florida and they walk all the way to the Midwest, and it's like they are tired, they are sick, they are almost dead, and they barely won that fight on Puebla. On they barely, like, they almost lost every man there, and they make a and only in Puebla they make a celebration out of it. But you're right, the 5th of
Yeah,
November. But that was
yeah.
after.
It's more popular in the United States, and practically no one knows about it in Mexico. What
Mhm.
Cinco de Mayo is,
Yeah, I
because
mean,
I assume it started because someone from Puebla moved to the United States and was honoring that day, and they're like, hey, this is an excuse to get drunk. It's the Cinco de Mayo. It's Independence Day for all of Mexico. Don't read into it.
yeah, basically, yeah, nobody cares outside of Puebla,
Yeah,
the place where the battle actually went through. But yeah,
yeah,
that's a little bit about Mexican history. Is all BS. Mexican history, it's all BS. Don't believe anything they say to you. Don't believe it. Nah,
yeah.
so
Nice.
BS. I mean, yeah. most history of most places have a little bit of BS and some
Mhm.
factual stuff that later they. See you, Jacob. Good night.
Yeah.
Good
Well,
to see you around.
our great 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 grandfather had some interactions with Pancho Villa.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a cool story too. The Pancho Villa one is one of my favorite tales or legends. He was a cool guy when they put it in the history books in Mexico, but then you read in on
Yeah, he
history,
did some bad things.
he was awful. But he was
Yeah.
cool. He was badass at least, but he was
He was.
awful.
He liked the members of our church that went down there and
Yeah.
set up some colonies, and he was a ruffian, but he liked our guys.
Yeah, he always dug those güeritos.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, we still have family down there.
Yep.
nice, nice.
Yep, there are Mexican Bentleys, which is weird.
Los Bentos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I get the name. My our great great grandfather moved to Mexico. His son was already born, my great grandfather. Um, and while they were there, um, my great grandfather, who was already married when they moved, gave birth to my grandfather, and then great grandfather died, was buried in Mexico, and my great and grandfather left and went back to the United States.
I
So I,
mean,
so I
probably,
have three
yeah,
generations of Mexican nationality. My
yeah,
grandfather was born in
probably,
Mexico. I have zero blood.
Yep.
Now the ones that stayed there, they're Mexican now, but
yeah. I mean,
I'm
did
not
you did
like
you
directly descended from them.
did you got the test, the origin test, like
Oh,
that tells you about the
Yeah. The
nationalities?
23 me.
I feel like it would
Yeah.
disqualify me a little bit. So
No, I mean, I want to. I just was mentioning it because I want to get it because I want just to watch to see the mess that we Mexicans.
yeah, no,
Yeah,
we're very European. We're
Yeah.
Scottish and Irish, and it's a lot of that
Denmark
stuff.
and yeah.
I mean, Ireland is a good place. I mean, I want to go there.
Yeah.
But let's get
So,
into, yeah.
I guess we can talk about the Peripheral, right?
Oh yeah, we haven't done that yet.
He's pretty
Goodness.
good. I don't think there's a
Yeah.
lot to discuss. Like
Yeah.
between 3 and 4, it kind of slows down.
A little bit, yeah.
It
Yeah.
lets you breathe a little bit, but I'm enjoying it.
Episode
I'm
four
liking it
was
a
a
lot.
little bit confusing. The some of the relationships, especially in the future, like everything that's going on in the future, it's kind of confusing, and I think it's supposed to be confusing. You're
Mhm.
supposed to piece together slowly what's going on, but some of the things, like I don't exactly know what everybody's relationship
Oh,
with
nice.
these with each other is.
Thanks for tuning in, Gojira, right?
Yeah, see you, bro.
Gojira.
Nice.
See you around.
Gojira.
Gojira. Sounds so cool.
Yeah.
It's
But yeah,
Godzilla.
the peripheral is good. The thing with it is just I feel like sometimes I'm not understanding
Yeah.
half of what they're saying because sometimes it's just techno mumbo jumbo. That the part of the
There's a lot of lingo.
hacker, the part of the hacker war. It was so
Yes.
cringe. I was like, oh,
Love
this guy
that.
was like, I never lose a hacker war, and I was like, what? Those hackers have wars?
Yeah,
It,
it's
it
a little
felt
silly
like,
if you know anything
yeah,
about computers, but
it felt just like those episodes of NCIS and the Law and Order where they're like,
enhance.
I,
Yeah.
I
I'm hacking.
yeah.
I'm doing everything I can, and the
I've
guy
heard
just disconnects the computer, and everything's fine now. And
I've heard good things about the book, The Peripheral. So a lot of
oh,
people
for
like
real?
it. Yeah, the show's fine. Yeah, it's got a couple silly things here and there.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
it shows that it comes from a book because it's well written.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's enough to keep me watching, and I think that I am right about my theory that I mean they literally call the other worlds stubs. Like they're definitely feeding off of these other worlds.
Hmm.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I think so
It's,
somehow.
yeah, but the thing
And
about the whole temporal, the thing they explore about about time, so
Mhm.
interesting from my
Yeah.
opinion. Is like you have you have this world that is completely destroyed where
The
the guy
jackpot.
the T'Challa guy guy is from
Mhm.
what is the name as
Um,
Wilfred. Yeah, I remember because they had a cool scene where his name is Wolfgang, and
yeah,
I was like, that's a cool name. I
it's a
mean,
better name.
yeah,
Yeah.
they were, and he's like, no, that's too white for you. You're gonna be cool. You're gonna be cool. Like
Wilf was good. Yeah.
Wilfred, like freaking housekeeper, but the male housekeeper, what do you call
Um,
Alfred.
uh,
yeah.
a
or
butler.
Wilf.
Wilfred,
Yeah.
Alfred. No, I forgot. Alfred is well. It sounds like Wilfred, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
Alfred's also too white for the. And that was a cool scene for me. But the whole Alita stuff with these guys, it's feel weird. Like the child. First of all, the child does not look at all like the Alita.
yeah,
Alita looks like half Mexican, half Asian or something like that.
Yep.
She has some color on her, some sabor on
well,
her
it
skin.
might not be her body because they showed her at the
Oh,
beginning
Oh,
in
that's
the body.
true.
They showed her in the beginning in the body of a little girl talking to Wilfred as well, and Wilfred
mhm.
was full grown.
That's a good point.
You're right.
We
You're
might not
right.
even know what she looks like.
Yeah, I
That's a
mean,
good
probably
point.
the more the show advances, the more we're going to get these answers because it feels like, oh, we don't know, we don't understand what the hell is going on, and then the next episode, oh, they explain almost
Yeah,
anything.
they're
Yeah.
definitely they're giving stuff away in a
Mhm.
good at a good pace. That's not like
Yeah,
they're just going to string us along for 6 seasons and never actually answer
yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
I really liked it, but you're right. I believe the first two episodes were a little bit better.
Yeah,
These ones were maybe more focused on character development, world building. The whole scene with the Armageddon. That was so dumb as well. It got me so angry. You can talk about it, but it got me
With all
so
those
angry.
those disasters or whatever, the floating things or whatever.
Oh, the Americans destroyed the world with a nuclear bomb. What? What
yeah,
Yeah.
would it make more sense that the North Koreans or the Russians or the Chinese or the Indians or anywhere else, but
Yeah.
the Americans, like,
yeah. I know Americans definitely aren't known for foreign
yeah,
conflicts at all. So
no, but they they
no,
but
yeah, I get you.
they did it in their own place. That why I
Yeah. Well, they
was.
said it was a terrorist attack that set it
Yeah,
off.
but from American,
Yeah,
I think they
they said it was an
tried.
American terrorist attacking
Yeah,
America, but
yeah. I was like,
you could have just said it was a different kind of terrorist attacking
they
America.
almost
But
say they almost go like, oh, it's a MAGA attack,
Yeah.
and the parts of and the parts
it, wa-
with the
it was
oh my
January
god,
6th that caused the end of days.
bro, and
honestly,
the
honestly,
part.
They
if they
stormed
did
the
that,
missile silos.
I would have been 100% into the show. Like that would have been so freaking funny.
It
I
would
would
be
have
Uh-huh.
loved it.
such a meme of what happened, right?
Like plot
But
twist. Oh my
Well,
god.
that's what Star Trek literally did. They said January 6th caused World War III in
yeah.
their new show, The New Horizons, or whatever.
Holy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well,
That's
another
pretty
thing that
ridiculous.
really bothered me, you can tell that this show is also written by a lefty because all of the scenes with Burton and the sister, where she goes like, "Is that because I'm a woman?"
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, there's a bit
he's
of that
like,
in there.
No, it's because
no,
it's because
you're acting like a kid, you're acting like
Because
a
you're having
petulant
seizures and yeah.
child.
you're literally dying. Like it's because I'm concerned about you. Because it's
Mhm.
because you're my sister, not because you're a
Yeah.
woman.
And I don't know if they were trying to. Maybe they were. I don't. At this point I don't believe it, but maybe they were trying to just point it out that women are, and then the brother is like always right. But I don't
Yeah,
think they did it intentionally
yeah,
because it comes out like they put the camera and angles and the emphasis on her,
yeah.
so it feels
But
like
she's
it's
just
her.
wrong.
And it feels like it's don't say you're a woman, you're my sister.
Yeah, it's not overtly offensive, but you can see there are hints of like, yeah, come on,
But
just
yes, it's
just move
just
along.
eye rolling.
Like with the villain, right? The black lady. They're trying to make her really sinister.
And it's
But how she kills that lady is just silly.
With the
yeah,
She gives her
bees.
it's
she gives her tea that makes the bees kill her, and you're like,
uh-huh.
or you could have just poisoned the tea.
I mean,
Right? Like, what was the point of any of
yeah,
that? There
my
was it was a
girlfriend
silly
was
death.
saying something like, "Is there's a tea there? I don't know." She mentioned that she knew that tea from
Pheromones and
from somewhere that they used it in another show or something like that,
yeah,
and
Mhm.
that's just maybe a reference to that. But yeah, the
yeah.
whole thing, the lady, I don't like her at all. She's not likable.
She
She doesn't have the
she's not
the
intimidating
charisma.
either.
Yeah, she
and
doesn't have.
and the
Mhm.
fact that she already knows who the other guy in charge
Mhm.
is and just goes and has a conversation with him, you're like,
It's
well, wouldn't you just kill each other then? And they're like, oh, you can't like
Exactly.
overstep your bounds or this will start.
yeah.
But like, if you already know the guy and literally where he lives, like it's just kind of silly that this hasn't escalated further, you know?
Yeah, and it was really weird, but it shows that it kind of tries to show that they don't really care about the people they are,
Yeah. I
having doing things
yeah.
for them.
I liked what they did with him, how he's killing off the other versions of himself. I thought
Yes.
that was very interesting.
And
Yeah.
it feeds into your theory too. Is if he killed off a past version of himself, this is a different universe, different reality,
Mhm.
Yeah.
because it doesn't affect him. So
Yeah.
I mean, they
they
do
could very
talk
well be
about.
feeding off of.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
second, the first episode when they tried to explain the timelines, although they did it awfully, I even Loki did it better than explaining that. Oh yeah, when did you can change something in the past. That past goes into another timeline,
Uh,
and and it grows itself, and it happens. So this timeline is actually the timeline where we change something, and the other timeline just disappeared or something. Like yeah, it was really weird, but I believe it's going to be more clear the more we watch
mhm.
it, and it's going to become more familiar with the world.
I'm slightly worried that it could get too convoluted too, because right now we're just dealing with
Yeah.
two worlds, right? This world and the stub. But they've mentioned that there are infinite stubs,
Multiple.
and they're like, if they're going to start jumping around to more than one place, it's just going to get, it's going to, it's going to, the stakes are going to be lower, right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing with the multiverse, like, oh, because there are infinite possibilities, nothing actually really matters. Like, and
Mhm.
that's what like Rick and Morty makes fun of, is that like, hey, if nothing matters, then literally nothing matters, and we're going to play into it, and we can just
Yeah,
do anything and be despicable because nothing matters. There's infinite universes, right?
but
And that's the problem with like the MCU right now, and in comic books in general, is that like when they do multiverse stuff, it kind of takes the stakes way out of it.
hmm
Yeah.
So
I mean,
I'll be interested to
She-Hulk
see what they do.
destroyed that stuff too, but it does this
Oh,
not.
yeah, She-Hulk made it worse for sure.
Yeah, that
And that
didn't.
wasn't even multiverse. That was just like, oh,
Yeah,
like
if they, I mean, if they
the
put
medium
something,
isn't even important anymore, right?
yeah. But what do you think about the whole Armageddon stuff? I mean, the animation was good, really good at times, but
I didn't understand why it was what was going on, like why that was happening inside a cemetery.
oh yes,
Yeah.
I didn't really get why they were there and why there were these
Mhm.
things in the cemetery and why he had to like turn them on, because like they were there and then he like flipped a switch and they appeared. I didn't really get that.
Yeah, that was really weird.
But
Yeah,
I did want to say Toast Lady, like, yeah, she kept touching that dude's toast. That bothered me so much. I was like, just touch, stop touching the toast. But yeah,
but
Yep.
yeah, the scene with the Wilfred and his wife or something like that dancing,
yeah.
like, is that his wife from the future or from the
No,
past?
that's
I don't.
that's the millionaire's wife. She was
Oh,
dancing
for
with
real?
Wilfred. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay, that
So he
was.
was watching his wife dance with Wilfred.
Oh, That was
they had it. He was connected with his wife and he was watching her do it. And she's like, yeah,
oh,
he literally said like she's playing with the house slave. Like,
that was really weird as well. He's just my pet, and I was like,
yeah,
okay, if you say so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're probably not gonna have the black lady said, "Oh, I have a black pet." Yeah.
I think that's the point they're trying to show these people
Mhm.
just don't care about life,
Yeah.
Yep.
human life, right? They're,
And the other thing that was really cool for me was the guy without a leg
oh yeah,
using the skin suit. That was awesome. I was like, "Who the hell are you?" He was like, "Who the hell are you?" And just dips, just breaks a window and just dips.
I didn't
Yeah.
really
And
understand what he was trying to do in that scene either. He was just running away,
yeah,
but I liked the idea of him.
I
Wanting
think
to
he
go
was
in because
filling
he
up
doesn't have
his
legs. Yeah.
legs. It's just like the scene in Avatar where the guy is just running
Yeah,
towards nothing,
maybe
and
just don't
filling up his
open with
legs.
breaking the guy's window you're working for. Like,
Hmm.
it seems like you're not going to get on his good
But he
graces
didn't
that way.
even. I don't think he knew what was going on there until later.
Right.
Right.
She explains something,
Mhm.
and the hacking. Well, the hacking stuff was good.
Silly.
The idea was good. The execution was horrific, and the thing about the guy switching with the I was like, so annoying. Just why even put that there? You know, the guy messing up and
Yeah.
just conflict
I
to
told you
create
you were going to
conflict.
mess up, but then why did you let
Uh-huh,
him take over? It's
uh-huh,
just
you just kick him in the junk and just let him there agonizing. But yeah, the execution was bad. The idea was good. I mean, during in the peripheral was the thing that were happening in the peripheral were good, but outside the peripheral were so boring and were so
Yep.
cheesy mostly.
Well,
But yeah, I've been
Yeah, I
liking it.
agree.
The whole thing with the mom and
oh
the thing with the girl that tells her best friend, and that basically ruins everything.
yeah,
That basically tells the bad guy what they're doing.
yeah.
And
I liked it that he said that like you did something really stupid. So like
mhm. And
yeah,
she's like, "Is that because I am a woman?"
and like you said before, like there are hints of the wokeness, but like ultimately the story is saying no, she's
Mhm.
wrong. She did a stupid
Yeah,
here. So
that's why
I
I
like
believe
that scene
that.
because I like that
Yeah.
scene because it put the woman in her place. So,
Uh-huh. I was
but
like,
I
yes. I
just
was
saw
like,
this. So I've had Twitter open because sometimes I get messages during the show from Jacob. But this is breaking news, guys. Um, Kathy Griffin has just been suspended permanently from Twitter,
yes.
Hmm.
um,
Yeah, yeah,
which should
brother.
have happened a long time ago because she
Yes,
was very clearly
yes.
breaking the
In terms
rules.
of service.
But because it was against Trump,
Hmm.
it served the narrative.
She was saying things that if I say to the new president, I'm probably
She
going to get
she was
like
literally
persecuted.
making calls to violence against a sitting president while he
Hmm.
was the sitting
While he was
president,
president.
posting pictures of her holding his beheaded head.
Huh? Yeah. Bro,
Um,
if you do that in Mexico, holy moly! Imagine, dude, you do that in Mexico, bro. She was
she
on
would
a
be
common grave.
dead.
Yeah,
She
she'd have
would
been
be
in a
dead.
common grave, never to be found. Her body just
If she
desecrated, you
holds, if
know.
she
Holy
posted a
moly!
picture holding up Peña Nieto's head, she'd be gone.
I
Is
mean,
he
no,
still the
Peña Nieto.
president?
No, Peña Nieto is not that.
Okay,
Uh,
I'm way out of tune of Mexican politics.
but don't
He
worry,
got elected when
it's
I
12
was there,
years. Yeah,
and there was some shady stuff happening with that election.
bro. Yeah,
They were passing out prepaid credit cards to people who would vote for Peña
bro.
Nieto.
That's nothing. You gotta
I,
the new election,
yeah, I
bro.
know, but I
They,
saw that. They're like, yeah,
woo,
I just went and voted for Peña Nieto, and I got my credit card. It was like,
bro. I don't know if I
what?
can even say
What?
those. I don't know if I can even say this. I'm gonna be very careful. Just gonna use very hard English, so Mexicans don't understand what I'm saying. So I live in, well, I am from Chiapas. I told you
Yeah.
before, I think, and I'm from the town that is right next to Guatemala. So it's, there's poverty there. There's a lot of poverty there. But it's still a small city. Um, the things they did there to assure that the new president, I'm not even going to try to call to name him, that the new president was elected, were insane, insane. Like literally, they would, first of all, if you were those people that count the votes, not only they will pay you off, they will go to your house, knock on your door. They, like, there's no way
Make
this
sure you
information
comply.
is not, you cannot know this information. You cannot know who is going to count the votes, obviously, because it will, you will get this kind of offers, and they will say, okay, we had you get 500 pesos if you just don't show that day, and if you do show, they're going to beat you down or threaten
Crazy.
your family or anything else.
Mm.
And then it was funny because there was a small town right next to Mexico called I'm not going to say the name. Forget about it. I'm not even going to go there.
Yeah, don't get yourself in trouble.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
All I could say is I saw some crazy stuff happening there 10 years ago.
yeah,
Okay,
bro, it
and
got like
and
it
and we
got
and we all definitely know that Mexico has gotten better since then. It's
yeah.
totally under control. Okay, definitely has not gotten way worse.
Exactly. I mean, people look back to Peña Nieto's sexenio, or 6 years of presidency, and they were like a cakewalk, like a walk in the park. It was completely different than what we are
Mm.
living today. And the last thing I wanted to say about it is, was like, there was a town of 1,000 people, and the votes of this place were 10,000. So they literally
Mm.
added a zero to the ballot.
Wow.
So
Is
so
what
the right character, so the right person will win.
the new guy? What part is he also pre
No, 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 no,
party?
no. He's a leftist, supposedly, but he's a populist. He's nothing.
I forgot the name of the other party. What?
His the name is a new party. It was
Okay,
they created it right after Peña Nieto's.
okay.
Um,
Because when I
it's
was
called
back there,
Morena.
it was pre and
PAN and PRD.
yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
in PRD, PRD was the left, and supposedly, although they were just, and the right was the PRI, and the middle was PAN, and
And that
that's
was it.
always
Yeah, yeah.
been, always been that. But then they created Morena, people that were fired from the other places, basically people that were fired because they were just doing awful jobs, or they were just, you know corruption and stuff, and they went to the new party, and they form a new party from this guy, the new president. And it's just, holy moly, they bought everything, every election, every state
Mm.
election. That's why when they, I'm not going to get into united election, because it's really, you cannot say those things
Buzzword,
in
buzzword.
exactly, blah, 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 blah. But I was like, not surprised. I mean, things that could happen in Mexico anytime. That's why I was like, okay, in America it doesn't happen that often, but in Mexico it's just, you know, uh, there's a pan de cada dia. They say, it's something that happens every day, basically. But yeah, it's fun to get political. I love to talk about politics. Maybe we should make like a politics segment, or maybe
Yeah,
we could make a podcast about politics, because I mean that probably has a lot of track to on YouTube. The issue when, you know shadow banning also is a real thing, so
yeah,
it's dangerous. But
yeah.
I
I
I
love
Yeah.
like
I love talking about politics. I just tried not to so I could get monetized.
Yeah, you
But
really
yeah,
have to
yeah,
be dancing around the words. Yeah.
it's tough. Yeah,
hmm
Yeah.
it's a weird world we live in today, babe. But at least, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I think the future might be not the future, no,
Mhm.
but the near future. Uh, it's
Yeah,
going
I
to
think
be not that bad.
I have a lot of hope, and we'll see on Tuesday, right?
Very
But
important, yes.
I I I think a lot of people have recently been opening their eyes to a lot of lies that they've been told for a long
Hmm.
time.
Yeah.
I think
The
I think
problem.
I think the lockdowns had a lot to do with that, and we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah, I hope that people that were just chips on a herd, that some of them wake up, because the issue in Mexico is exactly that, that there's a lot of chips. That's why you were saying as well. I don't know if it, yeah, it was before the stream, that why people hate Donald Trump in Mexico, and it's because they eat the information and they don't process it. They just
Yeah,
swallow it, and they don't, they don't see what's, they don't wonder. Like in Mexico, dude, to this day, okay, I don't know if I can say it, okay, to this day they still believe the thing about the bat
bad
and
hombres.
the no the bat and the wet markets and stuff.
Oh
Yeah.
yes, that thing
Yeah,
that we
they
could
still believe,
definitely talk.
bro.
Yeah,
There's a meme about bat soup that they in Mexico. There are people that actually believe that they came from bat soup, and
Yeah.
it's it, so it was so infuriating, because I will say the reality basically, or at least the information that we had in that moment. I was like, no, probably not, and they were like, no, you are a crazy conspiracy theorist,
yeah.
whatever.
Yep.
And nowadays it's like, and that's why no freaking amnesty for them.
I
No
know they're asking
amnesty.
for forgiveness now, right? Hey, we were in. Please forgive us for the horrible things we did while we were in the dark about.
Yo, to this point, I cannot go to the US, and that's no. They won't have forgiveness for that. It's been my dream since I was a child, and I cannot make it there because I don't
Yeah,
I don't com what comply
Comply.
comply.
well,
I didn't comply.
maybe if we get
Yep.
married, then you can come over.
Not even that, because I still would have to get the thingies,
Yep.
here.
Well, hopefully
Yeah.
that'll change soon, and then you're welcome over here anytime.
Yeah, I think Florida is the only. I mean, not even Florida, because I still had to, go to JFK airport, because most of the flights go there, and then they go to any other places. But yeah, right now I can't, and I would love to go there. I hope someday
Yeah,
they stop panicking.
Yep.
Satanic panic 2.0 was, disease panic. So
yeah. For
Yep.
for for context, this is what he was talking about.
mhm.
It was the Atlantic that said, "Let's declare a pandemic amnesty." And
Holy.
I believe this line has been changed. It used to say, we did a lot of things when we were in the dark about COVID, and now it's time to forgive those
To
things.
forgive. Holy no, man. I wanted to make a video about it, but it was just going to be me screaming at the screen. It was just getting
I
mad, and I was,
they
no,
they
there's not.
literally kicked people out of their jobs for
Yep.
stuff that
People that had expertise
Mm-hmm.
in those fields, and they
Exactly.
were they were talking about what they were seeing numbers wise in the hospitals, and they were shut down because they couldn't discuss anything.
Mm-hmm.
So because it went contrary to what the yeah.
I would say, okay, do that. I mean, that's obviously fascistic thing to do. The grandmas
they
and
loved
grandpas
it. They
from
loved
the
to
Cuomo.
they love to scream about fascism and don't even realize what they're doing.
They don't even know what it is, and it makes no sense. Like the
Yeah.
the
And
everyone
and
they were
in
talking
the
about.
same breath, though, they will praise countries like China and say they'll freaking praise Che Guevara and
Yeah.
say, "Oh, communism has never actually really been tried," right? And like, I don't know if you know this, but Che Guevara was not a good person. He executed homosexuals. He had the wall of his office removed so that he could watch the homosexuals being executed.
Holy moly!
This guy was not a good person,
No,
but he's on
and I have
every college
yeah.
T-shirt.
I have a friend that is really into Che Guevara, and I was like, and really, he's real lefty. No, he's not like lefty
He,
lefty. He hates the
yeah,
left, but he actually read the Communist Manifesto. He most like he has read
yeah.
Paulo Ferrer, who is like
Mhm.
the Marxist for education, because he is really into education. So, you know, I read those things when I was a left, and I was like, okay, this makes sense, and it still makes sense a little bit, but the thing that they generalize anything, and so it's like everyone is oppressed or everyone is not oppressed, or everyone is oppressed or an oppressor, and it's not, the absolutes
Or
don't
some people
work.
just want to be left alone.
Hmm.
Some people
Most
Yep.
of
just want to
us.
be left alone, and they want you to leave their kids alone, and that has nothing to do with oppression or.
Exactly.
But if you try and tell them how to be parents, they're gonna get upset. So
Hmm.
Yep.
um, yeah,
I was wondering, and I don't even know if I can say this on YouTube, so I'm going to be really careful about it.
you don't. You
Mhm.
be really. You're on my channel. Be careful.
Yes,
No,
I,
I'm
you
just
I don't
gonna
think they
show.
go ahead.
monitor past the first 30 minutes of live
Go ahead.
streams anyway.
Go ahead. Just be careful.
There was I had a thought, because I don't know if you saw the video on Twitter, of the MAGA Republican breaking on destroying and throwing a Molotov
Yes,
cocktail. to-
it's yeah. It's definitely not faked at all. Sure, it's
I was
not
like, yeah,
staged.
I'm gonna get my
It's
MAGA hat to go
it's
and
throwing a
go and
Molotov
make it.
cocktail at a
Yeah,
place that had a
yeah,
a
because
drag
MAGA,
a drag
yeah,
story hour, and so
because
it's
they
definitely a right wing targeted conspiracy.
because the thing.
Just like the guy who broke into Carrie Lake's competitor. I can't even remember who's running against her, what her name is.
Mm,
But
the one that has Whitmer, no,
it's not Whitmer.
uh, uh, the one that has a twin that basically said the whole Democrat plan, right? Did you see that Project Veritas expose
I've seen a
about?
lot of them.
I didn't see that.
Trying to remember which
Yo,
one.
you gotta watch that. It's insane. That she says basically
Katie
that
Hobbs.
Democrats,
Katie Hobbs is running against
yeah,
Carrie Lake, and her
Eddie
headquarters
Hobbs.
was broken into, and the media immediately ran with, "Hey, this is a right wing MAGA extremist who's trying to steal or do something nefarious to Katie Hobbs." Turns out it was just a homeless guy.
Yep.
But that Katie Hobbs thing, her twin sister said that Democrats were basically funding the races of the race, not race,
The the
the
campaign.
yeah,
Yeah, the
exactly, the
political
campaign
campaign. Yeah.
of MAGA Republicans, because
Oh
they
yes,
they thought that they
no,
were going to have a
the
better.
Democratic Party has openly been doing it. They were funding, and it's on record. The Democrat, it came straight from the
The
DC.
DNC,
The
literally
DNC
straight from the
sent
DNC
money
funds.
to several campaigns of MAGA Republicans, hoping that they would win their primaries because it would be easier to beat them in the general election.
Mm.
So, but in the same breath, they'll say that MAGA Republicans are a threat to democracy. So
Mhm.
then why are you giving them money?
Because they don't want.
Because it's bullcrap. They don't.
They don't want democracy. They want a fascistic regime, just like China, but with wokeism
Mhm.
as their core values. And yeah, the thing that I was going to say that I think is not. I cannot even. I don't have to say it anymore. But why haven't? Where is the breaking point? Like, when is the tip? Because there's no
Mhm.
way this is going to de-escalate. This is
I
just going to get worse and worse, just like Tim Pool always says.
I think that's a great question, and I think it's already broken. I think the breaking point was our children.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think we're going to see that on Tuesday, that people are done. They were fine with, the problem is, you know, conservatives are extremely tolerant because they just want to be left alone, and um, they don't like having to confront people,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so
Right.
for a long time, we've just said, hey, look, if you do what you want, right? If you want to do crazy, freaky stuff, go ahead. It doesn't bother me. And so for a long time, the left has pushed and gotten further and further and further and gotten away with more and more stuff. But the second it changed from no, we're going to indoctrinate your children, we're going to put stuff in schools, and family friendly drag queen story hours, and all this crazy stuff. The second where the second when they started messing with people's kids, and this has been a very recent push. Like, it's always been a little bit there, but these last couple of years, it's been it's escalated exponentially.
Yep.
And I think that people noticed, and the numbers don't look good.
I hope so.
Well,
I
they
hope
don't
so.
look good for the left, which is great news
Yes,
for
I really hope so. I'm going to be like on my screen, refreshing every freaking hour to see who wins because
well,
you
I'm just gonna be watching Louder with a Crowder. So
But the thing with that with Crowder, sometimes that gets me a little bit angry. I mean, when he did the whole when he was going through the addresses, and he was basically saying, "Oh, this is
Yep.
a repeated addresses," and then it was like, okay, that didn't go anywhere, and you stop right when they said, okay, no, you cannot talk about it anymore, because if you keep talking about it, you're going to get the platform. And he was like, okay, I'm going to stop talking about it.
yeah,
And he was wrong about a lot of things. He hasn't said, "Oh, I was wrong about this, I was wrong about that." And that's the thing that was, I mean, Republicans are not perfect. I disagree
yeah,
on a lot of things that he says, but the thing that I don't disagree with is the truth, the objective truth that sometimes you cannot even say anymore out loud because you get the platform, because you are,
I know the fact that we've
yeah,
been
Crowder is small, is okay in
walking
small
on
doses.
eggshells and saying, "Am I allowed to say this? Am I allowed to say that?" That's terrifying. And I
Hmm.
think people have noticed, and I think that
It's just
oh
it's just like in Mexico. It's the same, but obviously the consequences are not that dire.
yeah,
Yeah.
It's a little bit, just get the platform, probably get ostracized from society. Well, from the left, not all society. Probably the right is going to, stand
yeah,
behind you if you fight for good.
Right.
yeah. I think yeah,
Oh, and the other thing I was want to say then, if because I bet that if the right party wins, the party that has to wins, is going to be a mess. So be careful,
oh
like
yeah,
Yep.
really, really, really be careful. Prepare for the worst. And I was thinking, like, if that is the tipping point for the other side, and then they just go bananas and they start doing stuff they are going to regret, because they are going to regret it.
Yep.
I hope that the good the good will win, because this is a fight uh against evil. It's not even about parties anymore. That's why I
yeah,
get mad at, at Matt Walsh and Steven Crowder dividing sometimes their own conservatives, or the people that are supporting truth and good, with the banality of, saying, "Oh, anime is this," or things you
yeah.
like are
It was a
bad.
dumb
Or
thing to say. He was
yeah, I
making a
mean,
joke,
I
but
know I know he was making a joke, but it's an example,
it was dumb. Yeah,
because Crowder goes ahead and says, "No, this is evil and this is satanic," and who cares about satanism anymore? Like, are you really going to go through satanic panic 2.0? Like, who cares? Like, really, like, we have dismissed all of that because we know it's dumb.
Mhm.
Literally,
Yep.
we know Islam is baseless. So why are we still giving the importance to this kind of, say something that we don't agree with is satanic? But just at this point, I don't care.
You,
I tell you, I'm a liberal, but I'm a I'm a I'm a freaking Republican, hardcore, all American. I'm going to fight for America. And because I'm done with the other side.
yeah.
And yes, I am afraid when they are done with well, they have been done with the right a long time, but when they cross that line, that is not going. There's no coming back, and I am afraid for what's going to happen next to the greatest country in the world. I
Yeah.
hope I hope it,
Yeah.
it gets better. I hope it
Well,
gets better. That's the
I
only thing I
I
want.
have hope. I think that it will. I think a lot of people who are in my shoes are looking at their children and thinking, I'm scared for them, and I think that that's gonna drive
Change
people to the
things, yeah.
polls.
I hope so. I hope so. And I hope that the other side is are not such sore losers that are going to, basically destroy cities again, because we know they can and they do. But the thing I was going to say, and I hope the right doesn't just stay quiet. I hope they stop complying basically, and
Yeah, it's
stop
been a
saying, "Oh,
problem.
like with Kyle." I cannot even say his full name probably. With
Yep. I know who
With
you're talking
Kyle,
Kyle,
about.
with Kyle,
that guy was probably a turning point for many many people that were just
I
fed up
definitely agree.
with the leftist,
He
and
he
they
was he
realized that.
he was offered up as a
Mhm.
sacrifice, and
Yep.
people didn't like that.
Yeah, and yeah, I just hope that we see that real man that we always claim that we have in the other part. Some people had to get their pants on and go outside and do some change, or at least help communities and stop the destroying of businesses and neighborhoods and stuff. And I hope the neighborhoods that they save or they help to avoid getting destroyed, that they recognize that the actual party that is support, well, not the party, the actual people that are supporting them and the people that are trying to destroy them. That's the only
Yep.
thing I hope for the future, because if I don't know if the term, I'm going to say the full movie Captain America Civil War. I don't know if I can say the term, alone.
Yeah, it's a great film, great film.
Great film, Captain America. Yes. So yes, I don't know if where that thing is going. I have some wacky theories about it. Maybe we can talk more deeply about it in another time, because I had some wacky, because I think maybe the left is going to win because they have the support of Europe, basically, of
Mhm.
the NATO nations.
Yeah.
Uh,
Maybe.
Yeah,
and and you
we
only
should. So yeah, well, I have the small talk stream, which I haven't done in a while with Corwin, but we get a little political there. I try to stay away from politics on this one because I try and focus on pop culture, but
yeah.
sometimes it comes out and we end up talking about politics for an
Yeah.
hour. So
I saw the small talks, and I saw that you guys play League of Legends.
we did.
Yeah.
We
I
used
mean,
to.
yeah, you used to play. I'm a League of Legends player. Well, I don't play the game anymore because
Yeah,
it's dog. But did you saw the finale?
I'm not
The
watching
worst,
Worlds. No, I used to tune in every year.
bro, bro.
Is it a good
Watch
game?
just the finale. Holy
Hmm.
no, bro. Watch the miracle run that DRX they had. My God, I cannot begin to
All right,
explain
yeah,
it, bro.
I'll watch the finale. Sure.
Check it out and check the uh Google this. I'm going to send it to you
Okay,
in a DM. But check that video, bro. It's going to blow your mind. It's going to say, and I like
it's
I
been a
said, I
long time since Worlds was interesting. Is the problem?
bro. I don't know if the games were fixed, but bro, these wars were interesting. There was a 53-minute game. The last game of the World Championship was a 53-minute game.
Wow.
Like, it was insane. It was really good. And I was such a big sports guy. I used to like love sports, but I have a thing for esports, and I really like. I hate the game. I don't even play it anymore.
I know. It's
Um,
the community just got so toxic. It's
oh,
horrible.
if every game I get called slurs that I can even, like, that it doesn't even make sense. Sometimes I get called a nation, or or a black guy, or they I'm on behind. I'm halfway there. Yeah, so it's really weird, but the world championship was great. Just watch the DRX's games. They are all great. The semifinals and the quarterfinals. I'm going to send you the link. But yeah, I really recommend that you watch at least the final. Holy, yeah. I was going to do a stream yesterday that I just wanted to, just
Yeah.
thank the viewers, just talk a little bit about random stuff. But I wanted to watch the finale because it got up to 11 p.m. of the at night.
Oh
And
yeah. I used to
it
wake
was,
up at like 4 o'clock in the morning to watch
yeah,
finals. You know.
yeah. But at least this time was on America, so the schedules weren't that
Yeah.
that rough.
Gotcha.
Well,
Also, it's been good, right?
yeah. This has been great. Um, we don't normally talk politics, guys, but sometimes we do.
It's hard to avoid these days when they keep
Yeah.
injecting politics in all these shows, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and that's the point. Like, I try not to talk about it specifically on this show because like you brought up with Matt Walsh, like we need to create a conservative culture, right?
Sure.
Because for so long, culture has been dominated by woke Hollywood that there hasn't been an alternative until recently. There are options, and so I think it's important to talk about you know pop
Entertainment. Yeah.
media and pop culture, but there's definitely a place for politics too. And yeah, like I would love to not have to talk about politics on my nerd show, but yeah, like you said, that's the problem. Like they're making everything political now.
Hmm. And the reason we started talking
I'm
about
just
politics is because
tired
we
of
were
it.
talking about Peripheral, and then they woke.
Exactly.
We got
Literally
into
the
the woke
only
stuff.
reason we are talking about politics is because you shoved politics into a TV show that we just wanted to enjoy. So
Yes, and I felt that maybe, because it was the end of the stream, maybe we could get a little bit wacky.
oh no, I'm not upset about this at all.
Yeah, it was
I
fun.
my wife gets mad at me for talking about politics too much. So yeah, but if I would love to do it to talk more. But we could
Yeah,
plan a stream, right? Where this is if you want to see us talk about politics, there's a place you can go.
yeah, we gotta do it because it's also important. And I also think that some videos do get good tracking, talking about that.
Yeah.
Obviously you have to be clever, so you go around the algorithm, so you
Yeah,
have to probably put something else in the thumbnail and in the description, something baity, so they don't, yeah,
yeah.
so they think you
Well,
are
well,
rooting for the
we'll
other
be able
side.
to talk about the election next week. So
For real, yeah, I'm probably going to make a video about it if it
Yeah.
doesn't go that bad for us.
We'll see.
we'll see. I'm on pins and needles. I'm anxious to see. I already voted, so
Yeah, like they say in Mexico, I'm making changuitos, and how would you say it?
crossing your fingers.
Crossing your fingers. I'm crossing my fingers, actually.
Yeah. What's your okay? I've been wanting to ask you this for a while. What's your favorite modismo?
Modismo. You mean like
Like Ponte la de Puebla, right? Like
yeah.
well, in English it's called an idiom, but in Mexico it means something kind of different. Like
Mhm.
you create these crazy phrases, right? Just to say something like Simon Dongo, right? Or have you heard like Simon tus caballo te rosas?
Uh-huh.
Right.
S-
Uh,
Si montas a caballo te gusta.
I loved learning those. The most ridiculous one I heard was Abuelitas de Batman or Abuelita de Batman, right? Which is and it was so funny because I heard it and I just burst out laughing and everyone was confused. They're like, "Why are you laughing?" I was like, "Because it's a funny joke." And they're like, "But how do you understand what the joke is?" I was like, the problem is a lot of white people who went down to Mexico didn't try as hard to learn the language as I did. But
Mhm.
anytime I heard something I didn't understand, I figured out what it meant. And so I was really good at Spanish. Okay, I learned a lot of things. And so when I heard "Abuelitas de Batman," in the context it was said, I was like, "Oh, you're obviously trying to get around saying "a huevo." Because what else
Oh,
could it
yeah,
be?
yeah.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
so they say "a huevo que sí," right?
Mhm.
Which translated directly means like by my balls, yes, right? Right, like huevo means egg, but when you use it in a certain context, it means your balls, right? It means your ball
Yep.
sack. And so there, when they say, "Hey, are you going to the party?" Some people might say, "By my balls, I am obligated." Like, of course, I'm going to go to the party. Balls, yes. Okay, a huevo que sí, but it's vulgar in certain parts of Mexico, and so the kids started saying other things to get a not get in trouble with their parents, and so it eventually turned into abuelita, which sounds like a huevo, and then for some reason it turned into Abuelita de Batman. It literally
I've
means
never.
Batman's grandma,
Yeah.
but it's a way of saying balls. Yeah, I'm going to the party.
Heck yeah. I haven't heard that, but I totally understand that they do that with everything. My favorite ones are like instead of saying ba, instead of saying ba, they say Bambi or bamboo or no, they use um
It's yeah, I learned
si
because
montas a caballo.
yes, because C just means yes, and then they make it longer by like saying Simon, which is like a name, but they mean it. They say it to say yes, and then the Simpsons take it and turn it into Simondongo, right? And then some other person says Si montas caballo te rosas, which just means if you get on a horse, you're going to chafe. But it's a whole sentence just to say yes.
Yes. That's hilarious.
Uh there was one that was basically the same as grass, ass, or gas. And it was like they say obviously ojo por ojo, eye for an eye, and then they say diente por diente, no, tooth for a tooth, but then they say trasero por dinero, ask for gas, basically ask for money. and, and it's like holy
Oh, that's good. Say it all
my
together, though. Say it all together.
yeah, it's ojo por ojo, diente por diente, trasero por dinero. But I don't know
Trasero
the
por-
full one because there's another one that makes trasero por dinero just funnier. But I'm going to
that's
ask
good.
my girlfriend because she knows all. She's from Oaxaca, so she knows all
Yeah.
the modismos available existence.
That's great.
Another one, another good one, just to say goodbye.
I
I
really,
know.
I got one. I really like um, tantas curvas y yo sin frenos.
Yeah, that's a good
Or conversely,
obviously.
tanta carne y yo chimuelo.
Uh-huh. That's another one
David,
that
that translates to so many curves, and I don't have any brakes.
I like that one.
So much meat, and I'm toothless.
and
Yeah.
the one good one to say goodbye, and this is really really famous with young people is te la lavas. Which is basically wash it down, but it's talking about your genitals, obviously. So
Yeah,
it's
Mhm.
te las lavas, te los lavas, no? You will watch your huevitos, your little
Nice.
eggs.
your
But
little
another one
like.
is
Oh
like
man, there are so many ways to say penis in Spanish. Like every single word is a
yeah.
euphemism. It's insane.
Then my
It's
favorite one is because it sounds like the coolest is riata. And riata is a hose, literally
Oh yeah, yeah.
no, not a garden hose, the hose that riata was the thing that they used to to lasso horses and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, instead of lasso we call it riata, and that, for some reason that that means the pin.
Well,
Yeah.
I didn't understand pajarito, right? Like how it is it how does a little bird translate to your genitals? I get,
You're right.
I get shrimp
I
makes
know
sense,
why, because
right?
of the huevos. So yeah,
Oh,
because
okay.
from
Yeah,
huevos
makes
Okay.
come
sense.
little birds,
That
and
yeah, it does
you
make
have a
sense.
little birdie there,
He's perched on the huevos.
Yeah.
Another one,
Uh,
picho. Picho is, but picho is more from the place that I come from. Picho, but basically means pichona, which is basically a type of bird. So it's something like the same, but they say picho, nyonga. Um, there's so many euphemisms, and they don't even the problem with Mexican, and that's why I would not advise anyone to try to learn Spanish, because it's
oh, it's
hard when you go to, I mean, you
and
can, for
you
example,
cross a state line, you have to relearn everything.
yeah, you can learn Mexican, and you can go to Mexico and everyone's going to understand you. You can go to or they are going to know what you're talking about if you say,
Right.
a modismo from any part of Mexico. We say, okay, I don't use that term, but I do, you know what they mean. But when you go to the frontier, the border, it's
Half it's English.
yeah, yeah, the Salvadorians, they speak no on yeah, Salvadorians, they speak broken English, like the most
Yeah.
broken English that I've seen in my life. And then you go a little bit, further down, and then just stop understanding what the heck are they talking about. Like half of the time, I don't understand what South Americans say, because
Wow.
they're very on modismos, and they do not understand. And the poor Hispanic people from Spain, they are like, I don't understand any of what is this moonlight language that you guys speak, and it's Latino. It's a completely different thing. But yeah, I would argue, if you want to learn Spanish, do not just learn Mexican. If you, it's fun. It's more fun. And in Mexico, it's so close, and you can just go there and go to a beach and have a good fun.
You want
Yeah.
my favorite dirty joke in Spanish?
Yeah.
It's ¿Cuál es el pájaro más educado?
Cool.
El que se pare para que te sientes. Which doesn't make sense at all in English. David,
Yeah.
what's the most polite bird? It's the one that stands up for you to sit down. So I think we'll leave it at that.
All right. It makes sense given the context, but yeah.
Well, now you know what a pájaro means.
Yeah.
It's just so
Totally.
funny. I love it so much. All right, we got to get out of here.
Yeah,
We're done talking about politics and little birds.
bro, I'm going to tell next week that we gotta make noches mexa. We gotta just talk about modismos the whole
All
freaking
right.
episode. I'm just gonna
Okay.
look for if you can do it on Saturday night, just half an hour or something like that.
Yeah.
We can just
We'll call it puros modismos.
Speaking of which, Mexa, one of my favorite things that you do on your channel is when you're like, ay, 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 and then the subtitles like surprised
ay.
in Mexican.
Bro, I
so
love
good.
those things.
It's so
Bro.
good.
I love to say something like oye, pues, hijo de la bolsa, or something like that you would not
Yeah.
understand. Like, there's no way to translate that in any way to English. And I'm just saying, like, ancient Mexican proverb.
yeah.
I
It's
love
good stuff. I
that
love all
thing. I
that.
love it. I'm gonna keep doing that. I'm gonna try to make a video tomorrow about
Yeah.
yeah, but it was fun. It was fun
All right.
today.
All right. Well, we'll plan a fun stream where we'll talk politics and modismos.
Hell yeah.
But we'll see you next Sunday where we'll talk more Andor and Peripheral
And I hope less pajaritos.
less pajaritos, less birds. The bird means something totally different in English, right? It's a different appendage.
Yep.
So we'll see you guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.
We didn't hit 20 likes. We got 11. That's close.
Oh,
So next
bummer.
week.
I'm gonna go click like in many accounts.
Next week, the deal's still on. You can listen to a sneak preview of my album if we get 20 likes. It's not a big hurdle. So we just need more people watching live. All right, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week, probably sooner because we're planning another live stream, I guess. Bye.